spark, one thought, one choice at a time. We build the collective. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the collective. We have another fantastic show for you, not planned out whatsoever. And I'm excited for this one because I could use some help. And I'm looking forward to your guys' help as well as Sean's help. So while I'm asking for help, do the things like the show, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, do all that good stuff. Get your emails when we go live, of course, Fridays for the collective, Wednesdays for the workshop. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, by all means, I'm looking forward to them. Get them up in the comment section. We can hit those throughout the show. And of course, if you have not yet, make sure you're signed up for the reinforcement loop. Edition 64 just went out yesterday. That was a tough one to get out for me. It took me a while to actually work
It
through.
did.
I'm glad I got it out, but
Me too.
it can be a bit of a struggle. But Sean, how's life out in the mountains, man?
It's good, but you're right. We should stay on that topic for a bit, I'm sure, because it's probably
That's the
relevant.
topic. Yeah.
But you're right. It is difficult to write. And how about this? This morning, actually yesterday, I started working on it, and it came out of a conversation. You good?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
good. It came out of a conversation that we had the other day, and that was about I have just started realizing how much I have written
Mm-hmm.
in the way of content.
That's
And
a
so
lot.
I told you, yeah, it is a lot, but now it's way more now that I've actually done the math. And so what I'd given you was a guess. Like I in my head, I was like, okay, one book is, 87,000. The other book is going to be over 100,000. Then the newsletter, then the Instagram, then the this. And I was like, and I gave you a nice round number, quarter
Mm-hmm.
million. Oh, buddy, I was so off. So off.
Are
And so
you in the seven figures now or six figures still?
to my point, and to this point, what you think is going on is one thing, but what is actually going on is a whole different thing. And until you start really measuring these things, we're working on assumptions. I said a quarter million. Do you know how much the number is? The throughput that I've done in 12 months.
In 12 months, I'm gonna put it over $1 million. But I don't know how much beyond that. So I would say early seven figures. Double.
1.8 million words.
Yeah, way more.
Yeah. And so what I did was I took I've got a digital library.
Yeah.
And so all of my documents, every Word document, every bit of manuscript, every writing, every book, every this, all of it is in my digital library. Just like you have a files and folder system on your laptop or your computer, everyone does to some degree. Well, I've got a digital library. So I asked my 3 LLMs to do all of the math, crunch the numbers for me. And then I asked all 3 of them to crunch the numbers with how much interaction I'd push through them in the way of words. And then you can do something, you can pull down something called your JSON, JSON. Okay, good. You're familiar with it. So for anyone else out there who isn't familiar with JSON, it's basically like a data file to some degree that you can pull download from Instagram or wherever, and then you can analyze your JSON. So that's what I did. I pulled down the last 12 months JSON, had my LLMs analyze it. And as an example, what you can do with that information is pull out a bulk number, which over 12 months was 60,000 words. That's a nice round number, 60,000.
Yeah.
It's a bit different than that, but about 60K. Now, what you can ask your robots to do is then analyze that raw number and show me patterns. So over the last 12 months, my patterns have been a compression. So if I'm talking about martial arts, instead of using 212 words in an Instagram post, I'm using 107 as an example. And so it's not just about raw numbers, it's about patterns and it's about context. And so that's what I've just gone through the exercise of yesterday and this morning. So in 1.8 million words, what did I keep? Because you've got the volume. We'll call them your thoughts.
Yeah.
But then your thoughts have to turn into something, right? And that requires friction and compression. And so I just finished, oh my goodness, I just finished designing some slides for the On Men series that I'm going to be doing. And what I can show you is some examples of what the next slide.
Your lighting is too good.
It's so good. So I'm starting to talk about constraints and what they present. So a quote here from Orson Welles: "The whole eloquence of cinema is achieved in the editing room." Now think about that.
Yeah.
So, maybe Orson Welles had a movie that had 1.8 million words, but he had to compress it down into a movie. My movie compression is 400,000 words over the last 12 months. So from 1.8 million words, I compressed it down into 400,000 words output. So that's the books, the IG, clickety click I do later today. That's all part of the 400K. So massive amount of work, which, to give you some context, is 7,000 pages of information, double spaced, just like 7,000. You've got to read through 7,000 pages of my writing today, bruh.
And those add on to the other stuff I gotta get done.
And those 7,000 came from times 5 thoughts.
It's very much is exactly what you're saying, because when I'm editing videos, which I haven't done in a while, I need to get back to, it's the same thing. I take about 15 minutes worth of raw video from 4 or 5 feeds, and then I have to smash that into one idea, one concept, and then deliver it within a minute and a half. And that's just my outside standard. So like, it's tough, and then fill it in with
and why is it tough?
It's because I find it tough because I want to give more information. I want to give more context. I want people to understand it at a higher level, but I
want to give your context.
I want to give my context to someone else, but you have to compress it to such a degree that you almost lose the you lose the forest for the trees, almost. But you got to find that right balance between where you can see the trees and the forest, but not so much that you see either just the forest or just the trees. It is it's a tough one. I really struggle with it.
There's phases to it when you think about it. So you'll take your 15 minutes, and let's say that's a majestic clip from the collective. And let's say we have a guest, does a 15-minute long monologue. Now you've got to take those 15 minutes and make it even more magical. And already the 15 minutes is pretty freaking magical. So now you're using compression and friction to loosely elucidate the other individual's ideas, their premise, in a way that makes sense to you in the way that you like.
Yes. Yeah.
So the two phases are, you have to distill down into the essence of a neutral idea, and then reapply the veneer of your interpretation of that distillation. So it's like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. It, we were talking about, I was telling my son about Venturis, actually, and this is kind of a side note. We went to
Venturi Lockjack.
There you go. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's what clicked into my head when we were down at Brooks. We went to the aqueduct just outside of Brooks, and it had a Venturi system in that enabling the water to flow under a railroad track and carrying on. Super neat, but it made me think of the Venturi lock on the Carl G. But it's also part of missiles and rocket theory, because we get to learn about that during explosive ordnance disposal. And so I was giving him this whole lesson on Venturis and how they're designed to compress an explosion, but at the right rate to give you the right speed.
It's compression and funneling.
Funneling, yeah.
Yes.
But the funneling creates friction in and of itself.
Of
So you have
course.
to be aware of the fact that where you start your explosion based on the angle of the venturi, there's a whole mathematical
Well, yeah,
system
and I
to it.
mean, like the surface itself is if the venturi itself is scarred or pitted or
Yeah,
dirty or
yep,
whatever. I
exactly.
mean,
Yeah, there's
there's
so
so
much
many
math
ways
to
to
it.
do it.
But that's exactly what we're talking about here. And I dig it. Now I want to hit these comments real
Mm.
quick before we
I could
carry
see
on.
it.
Yeah, I
I
know.
could see how you're getting all twitchy. The show will not continue
The
until the
comments
initial
have to
comments
get
have
done.
been
Well,
addressed.
I don't wanna leave people in the lurch. That's the
Dude, you
big thing.
shouldn't.
I wanna keep them involved here. So
They
Littlefoot
are.
jumps in here. Yeah, it says, "What do you at,
What's up,
boys?"
guys?
I miss my
What do you
time
up,
with the
guys?
newfies. Back,
Love, love it.
in the army, you get to hang out with so many newfies and as well as, I say from Alberta, but when you get to hang out with the newfies, when you get to hang out with the people from Quebec, when you get to see the people from
Yeah.
Vancouver, you get to see the world or the country as a whole. It's, I miss it. I'm
Well,
surrounded by just Albertans now.
so there is something here that, and I'm just going to combine two quick
Sure.
things here because you've
Here we
already
go.
done it.
Well, there's more, but go ahead.
Yeah, you've already done it, and I know there's always going to be more. You've already done it. It's a little play. I'm playing with your mind right now. I
Yep.
played with it yesterday, and I've been playing with everyone's mind for a few days, and it's simple. We all do it. Knock knock. We already did that little thing, right?
Yep.
But then in the video the other day, when I was about to shred down Kamosi on my mountain bike, I kicked a stick.
Yep.
And
Saw
before I
that.
kicked the stick, I looked over my shoulder and said, check back blast area. And in my head, the very next words that occur after that is back blast area clear. Right? Check back blast area, back blast area clear. And so it's just like the Venturi lock.
Mm-hmm.
There is this said, and then there is that thought preceded and immediately following. And they are at the hip. If this, then that.
Yeah.
And so all of these little things that we have in our heads, they're all primed. They like it's already in your mind. Someone will say something 4.5 days from now, and it's already done in your head because of that little knock knock.
Yeah.
And so thinking about that, when there's a bunch of stuff that you do on the show that I'm disappointed. It's my knock knock moment if you don't follow through. You know what I'm saying? So I have expectations of like your comments are my knock knocks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, you can also, I mean, we've done this so many times together now that we can read each other pretty closely to how we're
That's right.
feeling in the moment. Just the fact that I get to stare at your ugly mug for like
2 seconds into the show and I already knew what was up.
Exactly. And I really like the fact that we have the capacity to do this because it keeps it real and keeps it without filter, which it could very easily become filtered.
It's true. Okay, so sorry, now to my point, because you got me all distracted. What's up, bye? Like anytime I think of a newfie or the East Coasters, I have spent so much time out on the East Coast and so much time with those boys that the moment that I think East Coast, it's what's up, bye. Like I hear it in my head. I hear the accent. I actually think in the accent.
Yep, me too.
Right. And so isn't that the interesting part about how life works? So as I'm talking about like how many words I put out over the last 12 months, how much I had to compress it, talking about Orson Welles, you do the clipping. Orson Welles tells the movie through the editing studio, through the editing room. The movie is the editing room, not life itself to some degree. And so the sentence, what's up, by that little sentence is the editing room clip of a lifetime of experiences with the newfies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. It's fun too because I've been thinking about because I've been taking French for a while now and continually studying it. It always reminds me anytime I hear somebody swear in French, it brings me back to those periods of time as well. And
actually, do you know what swearing in French brings me back to? Now, sure, there's lots of good army stories about swearing in French, but for real, think about it now. What is your favorite scene in a movie in French? Oh boy, you better get this right.
The Devil's Brigade is the movie, and it's when the one lone Vendu there who is like they're in the bar, and he calls someone I think it's merde,
All
and
right.
so that's probably
Yeah,
my favorite one.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your expectation?
It's in the Matrix series,
Ah, yes. Okay, I see.
right?
Yep, I remember that one.
The
Yep,
Merovingian.
the Merovingian. Yes,
Yeah,
like wiping your ass with silk.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And so when he starts elucidating that, I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it because though I don't speak French well enough to really fully appreciate it, what I can appreciate is the artistry of how he delivers it.
Yeah.
It's really artistic. It's quite beautiful, actually, that scene. Several scenes where he's delivering a little bit of hardcore French.
Mm-hmm.
But, like it's, I think part of it, when you look at, I see a scene where they're just about to kick it off. There's the big grand stairs and Neo's about to start flipping through the air all magically and smashing villains in the head with massive maces. I love
Mm-hmm.
that scene.
That's a great
But
fight
before
scene.
they kick off, the Merovingians, he's chirping in French and etc. And there's two things that are kind of happening there. So there's the magic of the language, of course, but then there's the magic of the man. Because he shows up, he's got character.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a certain way about him, and he's got a certain outfit, style, panache, things. So it's not just about the words, and it's not just about the compression. It's not just about the editing room, because then all of that stuff has to go out of the editing room and be presented. And if you get some schlep rock who's in that moment and he's like chirping French, that ain't happening. It ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
You need the Merovingian showing up with all of the mega
The
and
panache.
delivering it right. You know what I'm saying? So the movie itself is won or lost based on the delivery, or based on almost the Hollywood leading man of the movie story, if you will.
Yeah. You can't edit out bad acting. Right.
No.
That's
life.
Oh, in life as well.
And
but
in
I mean,
Hollywood.
like, that's what I mean is that you can't, if you do it poorly, or if you present it poorly, if you take the action poorly, you can't edit that out later. You can't change that at another time.
Podcasting.
Exactly. So
I feel it, man.
Yeah.
I do feel it. You know what? I'm at a point in my life now where I'm starting to put two and two together and look backwards, and it's not shockingly embarrassing, but it's shockingly underwhelming at times, I would say.
Well, and this goes into the premise of the show, the whole idea of grace, not slack, but you will never see that. You will never get to a point where you can look back and be like, man, that wasn't my best work until you've done it enough times to realize that was not your best work. Because if you do it 2 or 3 times and hey, like I remember my first couple of podcasts, like at the very beginning.
So do I. You were the man.
I was the man.
Dude, you were
I
the man.
thought I was so awesome.
Dude, we're so awesome.
But the thing was, at the time, I needed to.
Well, like, actually,
I wouldn't have done it had I not.
Hang on a sec. There's truth to what you're about to say, but then there's another truth.
Okay.
And so I'm going to take the sting out of what you think about things in respect to podcasting. Because the other parallel truth is, at that time, everyone kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I mean, there's big names out there. They're doing their thing, blah, 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 podcasting. Yeah, you won. But at the time when you were kicking off, like way back in the day, like, dude, no one was really doing it.
It was 7.5 years ago. When I started.
Right. So like when I say no one was really doing it, I mean, trying to do it in a way that like is kind of common now.
Yep.
Every Folio who ever owned a pair of combat boots is now podcasting, and that's great. Awesome. Whatever. Get after it.
Yep.
But like 7.5 years ago, it was a way different universe, man.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. And I was going to say, and before even doing it, I had to like build myself up to get to a point that I believed enough
Like
in what I
all 1
said.
inch off the ground.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
to me, that was a tower at the
As a
time,
view.
right? It was,
I'm an inch taller.
but back in the day, that's what I had to do. I had
Agree.
to create this persona of just like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? People need to hear what I have to say, and I have to believe it well enough to present it to the world. And that was part and parcel of the whole journey. That was the
Do you know
thing.
it's like anti-grace.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost. A little bit of ego, a little bit of
Not a little.
there was a lot of ego. Yeah, there was a lot of ego. There was a lot of but and again, I have to
Hey,
say this.
listen, when I'm not putting you in check.
Yeah,
You know what I'm doing. I'm just keeping it real, but at the same time, I'm illustrating or drawing out the point that, like, these things are not friction free.
exactly. Yeah,
And like, to get to where you're at and to get to where I'm at, which is not that high, by the way, because 7.5 years ago you were 1 inch tall,
yeah.
looking down on all of the masses. Now we're all 1.5 inches
1.5 inches
taller.
tall. Yeah, I was gonna say
We
there
gained a
were
half inch.
there were a couple
But
of
my
step
point
backs.
is this, that you know, you had to do it in a way that you had to do it. And now you can look back and see, God, that's what it took. But it takes something, man. It takes something.
Yeah.
And what it usually takes is a little bit of not the right ingredients. Like, you got to
Yes.
come in with like almost a little bit of delusion or a little
Yeah.
bit of ego or a little bit of whatever, man. Almost come in with a bit of a wrong recipe. Do you know what
You
I'm
know what it is?
saying?
You know what it is? On Wednesday, you said it as well. We were talking about I could do that, and I think that's the delusion. I think that's
I
the
could
belief
totally
that
do
like
that.
I could do that. That's easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've already done it.
already done it.
It's
This is easy,
done.
easy peasy. Yeah,
Did it.
until now you get it. You know, you do one, and then you do two, and then you do five, and then you do 27, and then you do 153, and then you're into the, you know, 1.8 million words of writing in a year.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a build. It's a uh, it is a climb. Let me put it that way.
So
That's the way I
this
like it.
this
That's the word I want.
this is relative to the topic at hand, grace not slack. So what I haven't stated, I failed to state, I suppose, is that, yeah, okay, big deal. I did 1.8 million words, and then I turned that into 400,000 word outcome, and so now there's books and there's things and etc. So what does all of that mean? Well, let me give some context. So 1.8 million words is like basically, you know, grabbing a huge chunk of the Encyclopedia Britannica series, or it's like War and Peace times 3, or like it's just a massive, massive body of work. I'm not claiming that I won, but what I will state is that it's uncommon how much work that is. And so why? Why did I do that? Well, let me
That's a real
explain,
question. Yeah.
and you're going to know the moment that you're going to recognize it right away, the pattern. So maybe I'll have you answer it for me. Maybe you'll tell the story because you know it well. You know my story well enough that you already know the pattern. I'm just going to try to get you to say it out loud. So, with BJJ and podcasting and anything that I take seriously, how long do I commit to?
10 years.
At a minimum.
Yeah.
So let's call it a 10-year project, and let's call it there's 10 slices in a 10-year project. What do I do with my first year?
You go hard. You just smash. You reach for the edges and try to play on the fringe.
Correct. So 12 months ago, do you know what I did? Started the stopwatch on dedicated writing.
Yeah.
Started a project in my mind called dedicated writing. And so I had a video chat with Seb yesterday, and I explained to him that, dude, this is what I'm doing. This is what I've done, blah, blah, blah. You know what's up. Here's the update. And I said, by the way, you're right. I have been pushing the pace super stonking hard over the last 12 months. It's ridiculous. But you know why, buddy? And he's like, huh? I said, that's right. the stopwatch started on the 10-year project. And so I gotta do me.
Yep.
I gotta do it in a way that has always worked for me. And that is freaking, this 12 months is gonna be heinous. And
Yeah.
it was. I mean, I think some people have already forgotten. I have already almost forgotten. But in November, when I went on vacation, like,
Yeah.
my
You freaking
vacation
hammered it.
evaporated
That wasn't a vacation.
because I decided, and that's it for me. The moment that I do that on the stopwatch, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Mm.
And so I was doing 18 hours a day riding over there on vacation. Sometimes I went 24 hours straight of riding. I just wouldn't sleep. I would just go because I know that's what I got to do. In order to own something hard, own it, I've got to go hard in it. And if I do a solid 12 months and come out the end, like, whew,
Yeah.
that was a bit hot. Put myself out. Still got a bit of smoke over here.
Yeah.
But I survived it. Bam. Now I know I can own it. But I got to go through a really, really, really hard 12 months because I need the friction in order to understand my edges, in order to understand like what grace will be for me in the future. Because I won't give myself any slack. Like, that gets erased. And so I'll go so hard that by the end of it, I'll know how I can modulate. But I'll feel like I've owned the modulation.
Yeah.
Not like eased my way into the modulation. I'm already modulating my modulation. You know what I'm saying?
So I have a question for you because you've been doing this a long time. You've done it with many things throughout your life. So you have a pattern, you have a rhythm, you know what's going on. When you were starting to put this together, where you're like, I'm going to do 10 years on this. And like, when you started building that, the level of friction, I'm sure at times was either too much, pushed you to injury, created friction with relationships, all these other things, right? So like the management of those side projects, those side issues, while going hard in this first year of things, how did you manage that? How did you balance those things?
Barely. And so that's one of the things that I love about the process, though. My process, not the process.
Yeah.
It's a process that is mine. The process that I use, I love it because, like, man, sometimes, you know, it's I've used the description before, planes, trains, and automobiles, when they're driving down the highway and they look at each other and like the skull's on fire, John Candy, and like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm the skeleton heading down the highway with my hair on fire. Like, sometimes I feel like that.
Yeah.
And it's a fiery pace for sure, but I almost need it. I almost need to be on such a ragged edge, you know, that event horizon, rather than the edge horizon. Do you know how many times I had to listen to Edge Horizon when I was reviewing the video the other day? I was like, Shaun, you idiot. But anyway,
correct you, but I thought you knew what you were talking about.
No,
I was like,
I didn't.
maybe he's got something that I like.
I corrected it later in the show,
Yeah.
in my own mind. But my point is this, that I have to be on that with like parts flying off of my spaceship in order to appreciate that I just can't push it any harder. I'm literally on the edge right now. And when I'm on the edge, it's where I learn the most, because the middle ground, I've been there so long. Like, I've operated on the edge so long that the middle ground doesn't exist for me. You know, it's like, it's non-existent. It's an unconscious state. There's just not enough challenge in it. It's already been automated for me. It's already been unconsciously offloaded. I know where everything is. I know how everything works. It's not that life is boring. It's just that the normal life of normal life loads happens for me seamlessly.
Yeah.
That's why I like the edges.
That makes sense. I was picturing it's like space, like empty space. And I'm talking like a three-dimensional model where you have a rapidly evolving or rapidly expanding circle or sphere. And so like traveling from edge to edge is just empty, open space,
Mm.
right? But the edges is where the exploration is happening. The edges are where like things are being discovered, and you're versus just like floating in
And you know what?
space.
That actually works quite well, maybe in a way that you hadn't considered. But like as the gas cloud expands or the whatever the black hole expands, what it is, it's actually we'll use the black hole is better. It's
Sure.
actually pulling in data, it's pulling in information. As it pulls in that
Mm,
information, it actually expands. And so me, you, all of us, we have to remain aware as to the expansion rate if we want to stay on the edge of learning. And so if we aren't mobile or if we aren't like able to adjust on the edge, we're either going to get absorbed by the black hole or we're just outside of the circumference of the learning edge
hmm
that we're actually like hanging out in space a bit, you know? And so for me, it's not just a case of I like to ride the edge, but I like to be aware of where the edge is every day, every minute, if you can
hmm
believe it.
I can believe it. And you're that type of person. I do like to float in space every once in a while, I gotta say.
Sure. Listen, I think we all need to, like,
Yeah.
we all need to get a little bit of anti-gravity time. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, one of the interesting things about what you said is hanging out in space. What is space? Cold,
Empty.
empty, no noise,
I was gonna say soundless.
the
There's
vacuum of.
vacuum, yeah.
And so, you know, it's not a great
Mm,
place to hang out. It's not hospitable.
mm. You're right. It's not hospitable, but I mean, neither is the ragged edge, because like
I
it's
don't know,
interesting.
'cause,
It's
so, you
interesting. Don't get
know,
me wrong. Like I
so
like,
so what's wrong with it? Some friction, of course.
well, just the fact that it's not
Cha it's
hospitable as
it's
well.
chaotic,
That's what I mean. It's just not hospitable. So like
but
either
there
choice,
I disagree.
they're just inhospitable in different
There's
ways.
a point on that edge horizon where
The
it's
event
not too
horizon.
cold, event horizon, where it's not too cold and it's not too hot, just like, the 3
Yeah.
bears,
Little
the
Goldilocks
porridge.
zone. Yeah,
The
yeah.
porridge is just the right temperature.
Yeah.
In space, you ain't gonna get the right temperature.
That's
In the
true.
black hole, you ain't gonna either. But there's
Yeah.
a point somewhere on that edge of the event horizon
There we go.
where you can find your heat, where you can
Yeah.
find your warmth, you know?
Yeah, and I guess I mean it then becomes your choice as to how hot you want it to be,
Yeah, and
right?
and how much you want to disappear into the moment. Because I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about Interstellar, when Brad Pitt's getting his magnificence on, you know, there's a point there where, you know, things are starting to change and he's starting to slide into it and like things get pretty trippy.
Yeah.
But, you know, he kinda it's not that he's all relaxed and like, "Oh, here we go. This is awesome." But, like, he settles into it and he allows it to occur. And, like, it's not that he's fully accepting it, but he's trying to accept it.
Yeah.
And so, in the friction, he's not fighting the friction. He's
Yeah.
trying to find a coefficient of friction that he can interoperate with it, and I think that is the trick, for me
Yeah.
anyway,
And it's
is
Matthew McConaughey.
appreciating it, but wanting to work with it, you know?
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey, not
Oh,
Brad Pitt.
sorry, yeah, math
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like Brad Pitt wasn't in
Yeah,
that movie.
you're right.
But the point still stands. Like the that moment is you kind of have to release to the moment. And this
Mhm,
is the challenge is when everything starts to go sideways. So for instance, I'll use myself as an example. Right now, everything's kind of going sideways for me because of all the other stuff that has gone on with my knee that's surrounding it.
mm, mm, mm.
And it's tough, right?
Oh, it sucks.
I'm not sleeping well. I'm doing
Oh,
all these
yeah,
things. Everything becomes
yeah,
harder. Everything
yeah.
you so but I
Plus, you're
have
lame.
plus I'm lame, very
Yeah,
much so
like,
physically.
in your head.
Yeah.
That's true, though.
It's true. Yeah. Because now I
Tell
can't.
me I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
I know I
I'm
am.
100% admitting this. This is I've been bummed out a little bit for a little while, and it's tough because all of my outlets, all the things that I would do to regulate my own emotional state, I can't do right now.
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah. So this is
I think
the
we had that conversation on Friday. Was it Friday?
Friday.
Welcome to the jungle with
Welcome to the
Steve.
yeah. Welcome to the jungle. Yeah. And it sucks, man. Like the
It sucks.
well, and I have to cancel my classes, so I
Yeah,
can't
all the
teach right now.
things,
All the
all the
things.
stuff,
So it's a
all
whole
the
new
suck.
it's a whole new friction point for me,
That's right.
which is why I'm in the middle of it, and that's why I
You
wanted
know
to
what's
break
hilarious?
What?
I knew. I freaking
Of
knew it
course
would
you
get
knew.
to this point.
Yeah.
And I also know where the next point is.
Yeah.
And I find it all very hilarious. Not like at your expense.
No,
It's
but
just so very predictable,
yep. Like here
you
we go
know?
again. Yep.
Yeah, and not just here we go again with chance. It's like it's just the play button, Like I've just
Mhm.
seen the play button so many times on this sequence of events.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to what we were saying earlier with the patterns
Mhm.
and the when my entry, just like the way I do the intro, gives you a sense of how the conversation's
Oh,
going to
within a
feel
second or
within a
two.
second of it, right? And that is the critical part. But that's because you're paying attention.
That's right.
It's so easy to not pay attention to people or to
Or to yourself, by the
or
way,
to
Chance,
yourself. Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, to myself. I'm gonna hit these comments because we've been waiting
Yeah, of course.
a long time.
It's driving you crazy, man. You've
Driving
only
me
got one
nuts.
by.
Littlefoot jumped in here. He says, "I make Shaun write more words because he responds to every Instagram comment." Yeah,
I
absolutely.
like it though. Hey, listen, I appreciate it, man. I
Yeah,
do. When I'm on Instagram, Kirk, I'm trying to serve. That is
yeah,
generally why I do it. But Sean has to have a little bit of Sean time as well. And
yeah.
anyone who knows me knows that I like Sean fun. And so if anyone engages with me, I'm going to have fun with it. And so I do appreciate the comments. There was a time when I started on Instagram or social media as a whole, which is just basically Instagram.
Mhm.
I just wasn't into comments, man. In fact, I didn't even know comments were a thing. In fact, I didn't know for a year that stories were a thing on Instagram. I just thought it
Yep.
was posts. I just discovered stories a year into my Instagram account. But comments I never used to engage with, and I actually didn't really ever care about them, to be
Mhm.
honest, because it just felt like additional burden, or just like I was just trying to get my feet underneath me on
Yep.
social media. It was a lot, but now, like, it's so easy to do social media per se.
Mhm.
I love comments, man. I do, and I try to engage with them all the time.
I struggle with them. Especially with Instagram comments because a lot of them are, at least the way I read them, are very one way, right? It's like, "Hey, great job, well
I
done,"
know.
things like that. And
Yes,
so, like,
but it's true. But then there's a game afoot,
yeah,
and it's your game to play. And when you say, "Well, I kind of find," no, you kind of let.
yeah, you're right.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Of course, I'm right. What are you talking about?
What the hell?
Dan C jumps in and said, "Good morning, gentlemen. It's a fine day for an ass kicking." Karma said, "F you," and shot me in the face with epoxy resin shards at
Oh,
1400
that's a
RPM.
gooder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun day right there.
Safety glasses.
That's why they exist.
Yep.
I'm horrible with myself in terms of wearing safety gear, but I
Oh,
am
yeah?
very adamant about safety gear around with my kids and
Mm,
anybody else that I'm working
mm.
with. Or
So
if I'm
so don't
teaching,
be
I'm
the
like,
example.
yeah, no,
Right,
that's
okay, check.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
yeah.
I just mean if I'm alone.
Yeah,
That's my biggest
don't worry,
problem.
they're
Yeah,
watching.
whatever.
Whatever.
Tansy like says the first words my previous father-in-law said to me was, "What you got in your mouth, me old cock?" Yeah, I'm from
Mhm.
Saskatchewan. I got scared, no doubt.
Nice.
I like it. See, I even say it with the accent in my head.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man.
Littlefoot jumps in, says, "I'm similar with certain things. For example, doing cabinet doors for the first time took on too much. I learned more when under the pressure and know what to expect and how to charge for it the next job." Yeah,
Yeah.
cabinets are not easy. That is, I made the mistake of that one too. Um, Dan C jumps in. Matthew just felt a disruption of force. Yeah, McConaughey.
Yeah, right.
Littlefoot, engagement drives viewership for the algorithm. It absolutely does,
That's true,
100%.
that's true. But
And
it's true, okay,
yeah,
yes, it's absolutely true, but I don't think that way.
neither do I.
I
That's,
don't
I think,
game the
my
game
biggest
like
problem.
that. I think it's
Yeah.
super lame, actually.
Yep.
Like, way back in the day, 4 years ago when I started on Instagram, um, like, people were hitting me up and saying, and I don't, like, I'm just gonna generalize this statement because I was hit quite a few times with this general statement. "Well, Sean, just buy some followers. Like
Yeah. Yeah. I've been told
like
that
pay
so many times.
$100 and get 100,000 followers."
Yeah.
And, like,
That's not the game.
anyone who knows me knows how much of an insult that is,
Yep.
because that is so counter to what I believe in. It is contrary to how I feel life should be led.
Yep.
That it's a shortcut. And I'll say it, I kind of despise shortcuts.
Yeah.
So, like the engagement thing, I understand the algorithm. I don't want to play the algorithm's game, and I've been saying that since day one.
Yep.
And if that costs me followers, it's not. I don't want to be mean spirited and say then so be it. Like I'm not trying to actively push people away, but I'm actually also not trying to pull them in. I'm just trying to be me.
Yep.
And by being me, I have longevity in this game. If I have to be anything else other than me, it'll be a flash in the pan. I'll be gone by next year, by
Mhm.
next week. And so like I gotta do it the way that feels right to me. And in fact, I gotta do it the way that I believe is the only way. And so that way doesn't include buying followers or gaming the game per se.
Well, I think also, I mean, with the collective, outside of your personal account, but like the collective in itself, we're trying to actually get this to people, not bots.
Mhm.
Like the bots,
It's
they're
true.
not going to be able to take that on, right? So it doesn't make sense to even try that. But yeah, I really,
But the comment is the spirit of the comment is good.
yeah, absolutely.
Like we all understand there is the existence of an algorithm and that you
Hmm.
can play the rage or clickbait game
Hmm.
and increase your traction or your exposure or your connection or your feel good about everyone loves me because I'm yelling.
Yeah,
And that's one way to live, but that just doesn't feel right to me.
yeah. And I mean, that's engagement for the sake of engagement, right? Like, and then it
That's
becomes,
true. You're
uh,
you're you're chasing the love rather
yeah,
than giving it out.
exactly. Yeah, that's another great point of that. And then last comment here. Littlefoot jumps in. East Coast safety squint never fails you. Yeah, I've done that. That's not just an East Coast thing. That's just the safety squint. I remember learning how to weld early on when I was back in high school,
Hmm.
and the instructor was talking about the safety squint, the welder safety squint. And he's like, "Yeah,
Right.
when you're just tack welding, you can kind of like look and then really squint and
Oh, you got to
spark
turn
it.
your head a little bit as
Yeah,
well.
you
You
gotta get
can't
that
just
little
like
like,
look directly.
yeah."
You got to
I was
take it in the cheek, not on the chin.
and I remember him even saying, he was just like, "Yeah, you kind of just got to accept that you're going to have eye problems later on, otherwise you're not going to be a good welder." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Why can't we just wear the gear, like, and then
Yeah.
just get good at using the gear that
Yeah.
he
That's
wasn't?"
why can't mankind consider this problem with more than just what happens tomorrow?
Yeah,
Isn't there a future in this?
could be some sort of development beyond. He also started with us. The first thing we built for him and the first class was a finger box for when we cut our fingers off,
Oh
and we
yeah,
can
right.
put
Yeah, I remember you telling that story. That's
right.
right.
So like that
Yeah,
is
he was old school.
he was old school,
Yeah,
right? And
little finger coffin.
the funny thing is, I think the box I made was like 6 inches by 6 inches. Like it was a big.
Oh yeah, right.
It's like,
Dude, you couldn't fit your brain in that. Come on.
yeah, I know it was pretty bad. But so back to the point at hand, grace not
Mm,
slack, and I want to
mm.
get back to where we were going on this one
Well,
because
actually, we haven't even really got that far.
that's true. We haven't even really
And
developed it.
so let's I'm not saying let's do a reset. Let's get right to it.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay. So not a lot of sleep.
Mhm.
The injury has now affected my sleep. I'm also um, during that camping trip and the whole shebang that thing became
Let's call it a
uh,
disaster. Let's call it
disaster.
what it
That's a
was.
good word for it.
Yeah, yeah.
That whole thing blew up in my face. So my wife and I are still struggling through that.
Oh,
And
well
then,
done. Well done.
and so, like I
Yeah.
turfed it up.
Well done.
So there's that.
Did you go back did you drive straight back to the area the next day and like go even harder to screw it up?
Yeah, basically. Basically, yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this worse for
Wow,
myself. So
I
I dove right
recognize
into
how
it.
bad I did yesterday. I'm
Yeah,
gonna do worse today.
worse today. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just the injury, the fact that I don't have any of my normal recourses for uh, management, stress
Mhm.
management stuff. Um, I screwed it up with my wife. I'm sleeping on a different bed. So like everything,
I knew it.
everything,
I knew it, dude. I
all
was
the
gonna
things.
say it.
Yeah,
I was almost gonna wag my finger at you
yeah,
when you said you got the injury. I was almost gonna start predictively stating,
yeah.
dude,
This is
don't
gonna
do
happen.
this, don't do that.
I had already
but I
done them by
didn't.
that time.
And part of me
I
kind of,
I'd
it's not
already
that I
done them.
regret
Yeah.
not saying it, because I mean, these are things that have to happen. That's why I'm not laughing mean-spirited.
No, I get it.
Because dude, I've been there,
Yeah.
done that, got that freaking t-shirt.
Yep.
But I get it. And so, but I think honestly, nothing should change, because it's a life lesson.
Yeah.
And for you to not dig your way out of, because that's how people usually think. It's for you to punch forward off of this thing and be a better person for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's the plan. The struggle is in the friction moments right now, which is,
Yeah, but it isn't a problem.
no, it's not a
You- You're
problem
you're,
by any
ass-
means.
you're no, mentally, you'll be assigning it as a problem.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Mhm.
something that I have to like problem
Yeah,
solve my way out of. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah,
And yeah, it already has. That's
yeah. Of
I'm
course, I
already
mean
trying to
it's
fix the
normal.
things and do
Yeah,
the
of
stuff
course.
and all the
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
which then adds into all the other things that I'd already done,
yeah. Of
or
course,
all that I already have or
all
do
of the other
during the
stuff.
day, right? So it is a it's a daily kind of
Yeah,
I'm working day to day right now. And so what I was gonna say was like I know a lot of people out in the world probably struggle with this stuff anyway. So why
for
not use
sure.
myself as an example and like put it out here to be like, how do we manage in the moment when you got all the things raining down on you, you got the world like on fire, and then, or let me rephrase, you
Hey, dude, at
feel
least
like,
you still got your front teeth.
yeah, I was gonna say you feel like the world's on fire.
Right. Yeah.
The world isn't actually on fire. I saw a post from Kia Tuala,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was doing the
Was he on the stairs?
he was doing the stairs, yeah. And I was
Yeah.
just like, yep,
Just before he
yep,
came into the
yep,
potty, I saw him on the
yep,
stairs, and he looked like ass.
yeah,
Looked
going
like he was
through
in
it,
the hurt locker
yeah.
going through it.
But the post was all about finding context,
Oh yeah,
right?
for
Like,
sure. Yeah, for sure.
and something like that, absolutely, it happens. And
Well,
then
that's right.
you need those context moments to be like, you know what, it's not
Do you know
quite
what you
so bad.
need? You need a first year. You need
Yeah,
1.8 million words. You
mm,
need like the mega hardcore, because then the next 9 years are easier.
yeah.
I my Did you go? Did you
No,
disappear?
you're
Sorry.
good.
Okay.
You're good. Carry on.
My first year teaches me what my next 9 years are going to be easier,
Mm,
what they're going to look like easier. And so the first year is all about the friction. It is
mm,
all about making it the worst, as hard as possible. 2 million words wouldn't have made my life harder. 1.8 was enough, because that's all I could do.
right.
That was me at my fiery edge.
Mm,
The only way I could have dialed that rotary button up to an 11 is if I could have squeezed 26 hours into a 24-hour day, because I was already doing 24-hour days.
hmm
And so that was me at my mega. And so from 1.8 mil to 2 mil words, which I probably did anyway, whatever the number is,
mm,
2.5 mil, that wouldn't have taught me any more. You know?
yeah, yeah. That's a good
I
point.
was at an edge where I was learning what I needed to learn. So, do you think you're currently at your edge?
No, no. I can. I guess the challenge is like I know I can do more, but the cost of doing more becomes untenable. Does that make sense?
Well,
Like,
the cost only becomes too much if what you're paying isn't providing enough return.
yeah,
And so then it's really, life almost becomes a reverse engineer problem, in the sense of, in this instance, you're trying to make things improved or better or back to how it was, or fix the problem or bridge the gap or get it back to normal, we'll call it. That's what
hmm
you're trying to do, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so you're trying to do it in all of your usual ways, of course. And so what is the moment about? Is it about you learning how to do what you've already done a bunch of ways that haven't worked in the past? Or is it you facing the friction moment right now? Because that's what it is. It's a friction. You're on the edge of the event horizon.
Yep.
Man, put that on a
Nice, nailed it.
t-shirt. Nailed it. Yeah. Screw you, Matthew McConaughey. And so like you're on your own little edge right now.
Yeah.
And you'll just ride the friction and the chaos, and you'll get through it, and you'll be like, "Phew, survived another horizon." Or
Mhm.
you can be in it right now and figure out all your future horizons. Figure them all out in this one rather than keep repeating them. Now, the reality is that these horizons we have to repeat because we have to keep getting better at each one.
Yeah, you gotta iterate. Yep, that
You
makes
got to
sense.
iterate, but the iteration should be a tweak. It shouldn't be a like, oh, this is my first time. I've got to
Mhm.
figure it all out. So you figured out a bunch of these horizons in the past, but now I'm going to challenge you with you're in one right now, and you're probably not trying hard enough to do it in a different way that's better. You're probably falling back on old patterns or old
Yeah.
solutions.
Yeah. Yeah, and interesting because my wife and I had a conversation about that very recently. So, um, I did immediately fall back on old patterns, and I
Dude, and,
recognized it
and in
actually
the
pretty quickly.
movie, straight into the black hole.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how that solution works,
100%.
right? Because the
But I
premise of the movie, the entire premise is the real timeness of things.
yeah.
It is the faith, the belief that this pull that I'm feeling in this pull moment feels right. I'm going to
Mm,
commit to this essence, this spirit of belief in this solution that isn't even predicated on math.
mhm.
When he's in that moment, it is more than math. It is more than the beautiful mind of the calculation. Like, if you really think about it, when Brad Pitt's in that moment, he's
Yep.
like, he's at least what I see, it's more than just a scientist, you know?
Well, you know what it makes me think of is that the math is a should, right? This should work out
Right.
as per the math. But then
Right.
there is. And what is,
There's interpretation.
there's change to it, right? So
Mhm.
the thing I was going to say was that earlier when I fell back on those patterns, I've now been able to realize what I was doing within, sad as it sounds, like 3 days rather than a couple of weeks.
Yeah, right.
So like
Yeah.
huzzah, I was able to come to a realization that I was in those moments of just like, wait a second, no, this is an old pattern and this
Mm.
is not working. I got to try something else. And so I did try
Hang on a sec.
something
So,
else.
so before we just blast through that, like,
Yeah.
how would you literally think of it in your head? Like, did you use that language? Like, oh, hang on a sec. Wait a minute. I just recognized I'm in an old pattern. Like, chances are you didn't describe it that way using that precise sentence in your mind.
So the
And
word I used,
really, words in the mind are indicative of how the mind works.
so it went with, this isn't working. Why am I doing this? And then I processed why, and I just started going backwards in time of like, um, what it was I reach out for touch contact. So when my wife and I are struggling, I try to put my hands on her. I try
Mm,
to connect with her physically in some
sorry
way.
about that, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Uh, and
The
it tries
love language.
that, but for me, that's what I grew up with. So, my mother was very emotionally bouncy, and
Mm,
she needed that. She
mm,
needed the comfort of touch, which would
as the
calm her
grounding.
down. So
Mhm.
I would regulate her
Mm,
right, to bring her back to normal where we could then communicate. And I realized that I was like, oh my god, this is from like being a kid.
mm.
What the heck? And then I immediately went to Amber and we started talking about it. And I was like, hey, I just want to let you know this is what's happening. I realize that it's bugging you. I don't want to do that. This is where it's coming from. What can I do better? Or I said, in this moment, I don't know how to help you. What do you need?
Oh, yeah.
I know that was bad. Uh,
Oh.
so she, so, and I mean,
Yeah.
so she actually, in all her grace, she was able to give me some. She told me she needed some space, some like
Right.
physical space, and I was like,
Right.
okay, done,
Yeah,
no
check.
problem.
Yeah.
And the thing I was struggling with was I just didn't know what to do, so I fell back on an old pattern.
Hmm.
And so what I was trying to do was be like, completely transparent in the moment of like, I'm at a loss, which is why I'm falling back on this.
Yeah.
Please help. And
yeah, right. Yeah.
we eventually came to a conclusion now, and we're doing a little better. The struggle is falling on those old systems because you're in a state where you just don't know. So you're trying stuff like, what about this? And what about that?
Yeah, right. The spaghetti on the wall.
Right.
Let me ask you this. So, and dude, we're just John now, just like we would John in a coffee shop. So it's not like we're trying to solve the dolphin language. No, and this ain't a therapy session. No. We're just two dudes who know each other well enough to hang out and chat about this. So when you were in that moment, were you like trying to explain, this is what I do? Were you trying to do it to calm her down, or are you trying to do it to calm yourself down?
I was trying to,
because you stated that you were trying to calm your mom down when you would do it.
Yes, exactly.
And your mom would react to that. And so were you trying to do it to calm her down, or are you trying to do it to calm you down?
So initially it was to try to bring her down, try to manage her emotional state. And I was thinking about it as
I wonder if she recognizes that that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then the old follow-on of, how can I help you in this moment?
Yeah, exactly. Let me just take all of my...
How are you struggling right now?
Yeah, exactly. But to answer your question was... No, I forgot your question. Can you repeat your question for me?
Well, it's not. I'm not really asking any questions per se, other than like wondering if you were trying to help her or trying to help yourself.
Yeah. So I was trying to help myself through her, and that's
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, in that it becomes about my problems, me, versus trying to help her,
but externalized through her, and like to some degree saying like, you're kind of the problem, but like,
yeah, exactly. That's why it didn't go over well. So
but it didn't. Yeah.
We eventually came to a conclusion on that conversation where we actually had some understanding. But like years ago, we wouldn't have been able to sit down and have that conversation.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And so
did you state that?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Like to her. Yeah, I've said that.
And give the context.
Yeah. It is I mean, oh man, when we first started having some problems, we used to just yell at each other, and like
it's not uncommon,
which is pretty common.
Dude, it's not couples. Uncommon.
I would say it's pretty common in general.
I'd say it happens more than most people think.
Yes. Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
But over years,
not a ton of people talk about it.
It's very true,
right? Like this, and I mean, we're not doing an expose right now. It would make for some pretty good fictional writing, though. Hey,
I mean, yeah, there might be some in there.
2.3 million words.
Give her, man. You can jump into it if you want. But yeah, the thing that I've come to realize over the last couple of days is the fact that, especially after Wednesday's conversation, is that I was making it about myself, and through Amber and I's conversations as well, I was making it about myself, and I had to realize, like, man, if I'm at a place that I can engage in conversation or try to seek to do things better, then it's not about, I shouldn't be still making it about me.
No, you shouldn't. And by the way, you're better than that. Like I would give you a hallway pass like a few years ago and say, dude, you're dumb as a brick.
Yeah.
But now I don't, there's just no way. You know better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And I mean, I've been, the sleep thing is what's killing me. And
yeah, well, it kills everyone. And I don't think most people realize that.
Yeah, I'm really struggling with it now, especially because I don't have any physical outlets, because that usually enables me to.
It's good that we're at that right now, because I was gonna, like, up at the front end of the podcast, I was gonna start wagging my finger at you.
Yeah.
But I wanted to let the conversation develop. But now's a finger wagging moment. Like that. Drop all of that nonsense.
Yeah. That's
a pile of garbage. You know what? That's the same kind of excuses that I heard half of the world make during COVID. Man, I'm trapped in my house and I'm Mr. BJJ. Who am I without mats? Well, you're you.
Yeah.
And figure it out. And so if you never leave your house for the rest of your life, you'll either be awesome or you'll suck. And that's on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's almost like pointing a finger at that's the problem, not me. It's the victimhood thing.
Yeah. No, you're
Like
right.
I
Yeah.
used to be mega, but then I hurt my knee, and now the world sucks. No, you suck. Your attitude sucks. Your knee kind of sucks, but you haven't done anything about your suck. So get on with the program, and that is the reality of it. And
Yeah.
I could spin that up into like a fairy tale of a comforting hug,
Mhm.
but that's just not the reality of things. Like, get on with the program, stop the moaning.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And the reason I'm giggling is there's a meme that was going around for quite a while. It's from a game a little while ago called Skyrim. And one of the vocalizations that some of the NPC guards have is, "Oh, I used to be an adventurer, and then I took an arrow in the knee." And so, like, as you were talking, it was like flashing into my brain, just like,
That's
"Oh my
funny.
god, it's,"
That's good.
yeah. And apparently, taking an arrow in the knee used to be it was like an anachronism for getting married. Like, you got tied
Oh,
down, you took an arrow in the knee, and then, like,
right.
and so it would settle you.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to look at this whole thing as a you needed to be sat down kind of moment. Like,
Mm.
you're going too hard, too far. Perhaps maybe you should just pump the brakes.
Well, you know what?
And
It is kind of sort of true in the sense that, not too long ago, and I mean in the universal time, not
yeah,
as in like calendar time, but not too long ago, you were a white belt. I mean, that's just like that long ago.
yeah,
Y- You know, you're at your blue when you got your purple belt. I was like, that dude still feels like a white belt. And so, like, bam, now all of a sudden you're a brown belt. Bam, now all of a sudden you're a black belt in your mind. And I think your velocity, your escape velocity was too fast, too
yeah.
much, too, I'm gonna say it, too easy.
Mm,
And it's not that you didn't that has got nothing to do with how hard you worked. So don't get it twisted, anyone
yeah,
who's listening
no,
to that
yeah,
right now. Chance understands this. We have kind of talked about these things in the past. But when you go from flash to bang reasonably seamlessly, when things go full sideways, you're unprepared
yeah,
because the escape velocity of your mind, like black belt was just like right around the corner, brah.
hmm,
And you were doing all the right things. You were doing all of the privates, you were doing all of the extra work, you were doing all the classes. Now you're Mr. Instructor. Now you've got the keys to the club, and now you've got the t-shirt. Now you're the man. Got your parking lot spot, little name on it, Chance Burles, 2IC. And like, you see all of these things,
yeah,
and the fall is even harder
yeah.
when the climb has not been hard.
Mm. It's also like there's an inertia to it. There's it builds upon itself
It does.
as the time goes on, and you're like, oh, this is all just working out pretty
Yeah.
well. This is all
Not enough setbacks.
falling enough. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I had some setbacks early at white belt, and then I learned how to roll without injuring myself. I
Oh,
found
did you
some
blow your knee
efficiencies.
at
No,
white
no, no.
belt?
But
No.
like,
Okay, so
because
you didn't really have. No, I don't accept.
I didn't have any major setbacks. Let me put it that way.
You didn't have any. What you had was normal. What you had was a normal white belt upbringing, unless like someone pulled your arm off your body and handed it to you. What you had was a normal upbringing on the mats, and this is your first correction. This is where this was your first sideways moment. Big deal.
Yeah.
I've told you this now. You'll remember it when I say it. Probably one of the best things that happened to my BJJ game was when I torched my ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the mats when Buddy started doing his stupid freaking knee reap move, and I
Mm-hmm.
heard my knee go. When I heard that, internally in my mind, things changed. My
Yeah.
life changed. And so it changed my BJJ game for the better, because up until then, like, I had a certain style, and my style was, well, I'll call it aggressive, or I'll
Mm-hmm.
call it like very offensive oriented. but I usually had my way. But then with my knee, I had to like effectively retreat, give up, surrender, lay on my back, be lame,
Mm-hmm.
be suck. But it was the best thing that happened to me because my game got so much better. I became a much more advanced roller because of
Mm-hmm.
that knee. Now I am a much more three-dimensional BJJ player.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, interestingly enough, I started with that style of retreat, fall on my back,
Mm,
fight from my back, use my guard, use my legs, use my like what I have as my physical benefits. Let's say that. Um, but once I had my instructor hit me with this, and he's like, "You can't be fighting from the ground. You can't want to fight from the ground."
mm,
He's like, "So for over the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna make you how did he put it? Like I'm gonna make you stay off your back, I think is what he said. And that's what it was. So he would hit me with like extra rolls or little bits of punishment, little like push-ups and stuff like that whenever my back would hit the mat.
mm.
I'd have to reset or do something
Good.
small
So,
to just like
so you were learning to recognize it.
yeah, exactly. And then from there that helped my game quite a bit. But this is gonna change it again. And this is gonna add another
Yeah,
level of
what you're talking about is atomic level differences. You know,
yeah,
like atom bomb different.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
and it'll come.
it will.
I still am trying to take I by no means wanting to give up or get out of it.
Oh no.
I'm just recognizing the fire and the flames and like, well, there goes the friggin' hull plating. That might be a little bit of
Yeah,
a struggle next little
but
bit.
again, it this moment is for you to organize.
Yeah.
It's your path, man. It's your story. It's your movie. It's your Orson Welles clipping room.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's true.
you're making the crappiest movie in the world right now, or the most mega.
Let's do some
You know what I'm
retakes.
saying? It's your editing room, baby. Get a grip.
Yeah. I'm on it now. At least this just the working through it verbally and having the feedback as well is always good because it is so easy to ruminate. It's easy to get in your head and like
Well,
let it.
rumination is one thing, and if a person's a ruminator, that's bad.
Mhm.
If preceding the rumination, it's negative. And so, whether you're ruminating or not, you can ruminate on positive things. And ruminating isn't great, but at least it's better than ruminating on negative things. And so, the first position before rumination is, what are you ruminating on? Because, like, it's a habit. Rumination is a sequence of events that becomes kind of automated, offloaded. It just happens. I'm just a ruminator, bruh. No, you're allowing yourself to ruminate, and you're calling yourself a ruminator. And I'm not directing this at you, Chance. I'm directing this at myself and everyone, of course. So, rumination, whether it occurs or not, is one thing, but the position before rumination is what sets the stage for the rumination. So, you could go in ruminating about positive things,
Yeah, you could.
right?
Yeah, easily.
And that'll take you in a direction that perhaps isn't awesome either. And so you can play with rumination in a variety of different ways, positive, negative, that are sort of not delusional, but not heading you in the right direction.
So let me ask you this then: for all those out there, for perhaps people who are in the same position as I am, or perhaps even this might be their first major setback, as we were talking on Wednesday, what would you recommend for them in terms of thought patterns, speech patterns, things like this? Because I mean, I have a perpetually negative voice in my head, and I'm learning to change that, right? And as I'm learning to change that, I'm learning how to catch myself in like speech patterns or thought patterns that repeat and go, wait a second, that's not right. And I've been retraining a lot of them. But for those that like right at the beginning of it, where every thought they have is it starts off negatively, what would you recommend? What would you tell that person to develop past it?
That's a great question. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. I don't think you ever have, that's for sure.
I don't have
And I
no.
don't
This
think
is
anyone else ever has. And so I'm just going to give you my first thoughts.
yeah.
So I think that it's something that just can't be handed out as advice. Like, I don't think I could write down a paragraph, slide you the sheet of paper, and say, read that, and it would be solved. Okay.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't think it's that easy.
No.
Okay, so with that established, how I feel I would remedy it or solve it or improve it or help, it would be like hanging out with me, man. Like, come hang out with me
Yeah.
at my house for a couple of days and things will be better. And I don't know how, but they will, because we'll get to hang out and you'll get to be with it constantly.
Mm.
And so I don't think it's a case of I couldn't hand anyone a paragraph of answers, but I could hand them a paragraph of my life in my living room just by just hanging out without any words. And I think that's
Mm.
going to move a needle for someone. And I'm not saying that it's me that moves the needle. I'm talking about like a human connection that is
Yeah.
appropriate for that person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a book will move the needle. I literally, I'll as I'm talking here, I'll pull up the slides so that you understand that these coincidences are interesting to me. But that's the cover.
Mm.
That's the first slide of the carousel post that I'm putting together on all of the writing that I've done.
Mhm.
And the reason I started that is because I thought, what the heck? All of this writing, what needle is it moving? How hard do I have to work so hard in a year at the start of a 10-year project? Why do I do that? Why do I have to move my needle that way? Why do I need that
Mm.
context? And so think about it. Your needle and my needle, they're needles. And
Yeah.
to move from one groove to another is a action that is physical, but then in that physical action, what it represents between you and me are two different things.
Mhm.
And so for me to move my needle, I might need 2 million words. You might only need 1 million, but there's an
Mhm.
amount that you need to move you, and it's different than me. But there's an amount, and that amount is like, we'll call it a critical mass. It requires such a mass that there is mandatory or obligatory movement. But it doesn't have to be 2 million words in a year, but it has to be an amount that is a
Mm.
critical mass to affect change that is notable. And so, you look back on your year, not my year, your year, and you'll tell yourself, you've worked pretty hard. You've done some podcasts, you've done some clips, you've done some stuff with your family, et cetera, et cetera. But now, bam, think about the last 12 months. What did you do that was mega? Now, I'm not saying that you haven't
No, I'm
worked
tracking.
hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I
Okay.
and I can't think of anything.
Okay. Okay. So, one of the things about a mega project, and it doesn't have to last a year or 10 years, it's got to
Yeah,
last a
tracking.
timeline
Yep.
that is consequential enough that you observe
Right.
the pattern that you're
Mhm.
trying to learn about. And so, your pattern in this instance is you need to do something hard enough and long enough that you learn the lesson in it.
Mm.
And okay, so you haven't, let's say. Let's pretend for a moment you haven't. Well, you got your lesson in 1 second, called a knee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what to do with that? Okay. So now you've got a knee.
Mhm.
That problem's already behind you because you just haven't turned it into your project yet. You haven't turned it into your 1 year hardcore lesson. You haven't you haven't grabbed it by its throat and shaken its scrawny little pencil neck and taught it a lesson. Know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking back to when I did the Nijmegen last year, and um, but it was more than 12 months ago, so I didn't count it in this last year.
Mhm.
but the build up, the work up for it, all the time spent focused on it and developing it. Once it was done, I didn't select anything else. I didn't pick anything new. I didn't carry on. I just kind of like sat
The old
down.
misogi.
Yeah. So I see that now that I don't have, or that I didn't take anything new on. I just carried on with what I was doing,
Which is enough for most people.
Yeah.
It's not that you're a slack dog in it. I'm not saying that.
Mhm.
But one of the great things about, like, you use the Nijmegen March example. You didn't go to Nijmegen, of course, for anyone who's
Nope.
listening, but the replication of one of the great things about these little misogis is they tend to you have to do so much that you have to funnel, you have to compress, you have to, like, to make it happen. You've got to take this and crunch it down to that. And it's that teaches you the lesson, teaches you the thing. And so, you've been putting out like this, but you haven't done enough that.
Mm.
There's been the friction of movement, but there hasn't been the friction of compression. And the compression state is what makes you realize what's important rather than what's the work. It's what's the important work,
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's a great point. I've had this image rolling around in my head is that when you look, you're saying moving the needle, and I was thinking about uh, what that looks like physically. So you have a small object inside a groove, and that in order to get it out of that groove takes a certain amount of force. But it depends on the scale of force. So if you really zoom out of like a dial and you turn that dial, it's quite simple at the level that you're looking at it. But when you break it right down, you look at the like the nano movements, the numbers become quite vast just based on your scale of looking at it. And I think the challenge for me over the last little while is that the scale I've been looking at everything is very small. So I'm looking at it as like all these big friggin' problems and big issues that I have to deal with versus scaling back and going like, wait a second, like look at it in a broader scale, take a look at it as a project, like you're saying, and then smash it and just work on it from there. So yeah.
What the interesting thing about that is, as you're talking about that, you're using the needle or the force to get it out of the groove, we'll call it. So the record, the turntable, as it were. When you do this, it'll make the needle skip. It'll skip into another groove. That's called force. That's called applying effort or energy or, enough impact that it changes things. And so if you can't deliver impact, what does the record continue to do?
It just skips and it repeats
it
itself.
Continues turning.
Oh, that, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the record keeps turning on the turntable.
Yeah.
And the needle stays in the groove.
Yeah.
But what does the needle do? It moves towards the center.
And
it doesn't jump. It doesn't jump out of its groove. It stays in its groove. And over time, it will end up inevitably where it was programmed to end up. And that is the end of the record.
Yep.
And so your life is a record, we'll call it, and you're letting it play in the groove the way that it is playing, and you're not an agent in that action.
Right. I'm just going along with
you're just the needle, baby.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that.
And so if you're the needle and you're playing the music just by existing, are you happy with your record, I suppose?
As it stands, yeah. I'm happy with where everything, and I do play this little game with myself every once in a while as I'm going to sleep, and I say, what if I don't wake up, would I be happy with what I
shorter?
No, I don't do that. No.
Huh?
No.
Okay. You should try it.
No, I'm good. I like my height. I saw my son earlier. Yesterday we were at the store, and my youngest, and he reached up to the top shelf of a like a grocery store shelving unit without an issue. He just reached up and grabbed something, and I was just like, oh yeah, right. These guys are.
Yeah, I don't even know what's up there.
I can see. That's all at eye level for me. So
Yeah,
that's
right.
no problem. I know you can't see what's up
That's
there, but
right. Yeah. I've got to climb the
you
mountain.
got to you got to carry a little step stool with you and put it down in front and go. Yeah, but it's interesting too because I was thinking of the record. Is that at the end of the record, whatever that pathway takes you, you'll start skipping at the
Oh,
end,
yeah.
repeating like and then you're not going anywhere. Versus changing the record or flipping it over, like there's an action involved in getting out of those positions. Either it's a stomp on the table or physically picking up the disc and turning it over, starting over.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, like to take it right back to square one, choosing your album.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
very action you
Yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
do you even know,
I
brah?
do. I remember using
Reaching
records.
to and
Yeah.
and like you didn't just like close your eyes and reach out and grab. Like you
You look for
looked
that one.
and you're like,
That one I want to listen to.
right. You
Yeah.
you considered
Yeah.
selectively what you were going to listen to that evening. No one really does that much anymore. You know what
That's
I'm
true.
saying?
But
What even just think about music as a whole. Spotify, bam! I don't know what's playing next, but I'm gonna listen to it because there it is.
Whatever,
It's
man.
quote
Hit
unquote
me.
my playlist,
Yep.
and so. But we don't make as many critical thinking decisions as we probably believe we do.
Oh, absolutely. I think I was just thinking that we were all spoiled for choice.
Mhm.
And that's I think perhaps the challenge of the modern world is spoiled for choice. I'm going to make this a podcast. We're going to do a whole thing on it. That'll be a good one. But the idea that like just the fact that we have so much information, so much space and room to do things, we don't put any thought into what we're doing. It's just whatever's in front of us. Oh, that cool. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, yeah, cool. Let's do that. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Versus having to really consider where you want to go and what you want to do. And interestingly enough, I think that's what's going to happen to my jiu-jitsu game, because my jiu-jitsu game is, sure, you want to go there? Okay, let's go there. And so I think this is going to have to shift me into a whole new realm.
Well, it won't have to do anything. I mean, you could have quit a week ago and you don't even know it yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
So what you think and what you know are two different things. So what'll happen in the future is anyone's guess. You've got some ideas, but what I do like is the fact that your ideas now aren't just one idea.
Yeah.
You've got a few.
Yeah.
You're seeing it maybe a little bit differently. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the reality is that it'll be what it'll be, and it'll be based on what you want it to be.
Yeah. And I mean, going back to what you said a little bit earlier with the human connection piece, when people are in those moments of like their hair's on fire and they just need to connect with somebody else, I think that's a great point, because it's the one thing that you don't want to do. At least for myself, I really don't want to connect with people when I'm in the dumps, because I feel burdensome is the word I want to use. Right. And so I struggle to reach out in those moments. And I know a lot of guys that struggle to reach out in those moments in that feeling, even though I know being on the other side of it.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's really hard. So
yeah, I know.
It's
I almost did a post about it just a few days ago.
Yeah.
Because I've recognized it, of course, and not just recognized it for quite some time, but I just some casual reminders recently. I'm seeing it in guys' patterns. I'm getting it in my DMs. I'm hearing the tone in their voice. Like dudes are struggling. But as much as I see it, what I can't do, or what I should say is what I don't want to do, is be that classic, not quite the boy who cried wolf, but the guy who's like, oh, you need help? Oh, I got you. Oh, I'm here for you. Like, I can't do that for everyone.
Yeah, I've been that guy.
So that's first position. The second more important position, which is one that I don't think people consider as much, is less about managing my energy, or less about managing who I'm helping all the time. It's the inverse of that. It's the noticed who I'm not helping. Right? Because you can't help everyone.
Yeah.
And therefore, you have to select who you're helping, which means that you're selecting who you're not going to help. And
Yeah.
if you're not helping that person and it is recognized by that person or by other persons, now the service in itself has got to be almost strategically selected if you think about it that way. And so I have been considering these things to some degree, not just what's most helpful, but what the optics of help are, right?
Mm. That's a whole nother conversation, the optics of help. And I know through when I was doing a lot of advocacy work and constantly, I was that guy that anybody would call, I would pick up the phone and we would sort it out. And no issues on that point. But it takes such a toll on the body and the mind of being that person all the time. You never take time for yourself. It's very easy to burn out to a
Well,
point
hang on a
that
sec. You can.
I,
You say you never, but you can.
I should say I
But
never.
but you don't, or it's uncommon. But I think that all of it can be managed in balance.
It can, yeah.
But the first position is not these things happen auto-magically. Like it's a learned process. You've got to screw it up so badly in order to do it reasonably well. And so, yeah, lots of things can be done, but not as perhaps easy as most people think.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. It was way more challenging than I originally had thought it was going to be when I first started doing it. Similarly to jujitsu, similar to podcasting, similar to riding a horse, right? Like everything you do is going to be hard the first little while, and you're going to screw it up left, right, and center.
Yeah, but to what end?
But to what end? Yeah, well, yeah,
So
exactly.
so okay, learning how to ride a horse is hard. Okay, big
Yeah.
deal. Now you can ride a horse. What did that do? Well, you can ride from here to there. Congratulations. How did that help the planet? And so, like the scale of what you're doing and in context of the world around you, what does it all mean? That's the broader question as far as I'm concerned. Okay, BJJ is hard. Great. What did you learn from it? Oh,
Yeah.
you learned how to throw someone. You learned a guard. You learned X guard. Congratulations. A round of applause. You know X guard. How did that help the planet? You know what I'm saying? Did it make you a better person? Okay, now I'm down with it. Did it give you wisdom? Now I'm down with it.
Yeah.
Did it help you help 1,000 men because you now feel more confident? Now I'm down with it. But you learned X guard? Freaking move along. I'm not interested. I'm not. And I think that's where it gets distorted. That's where that's where it's wrong in my books. Someone will want something, claim something, get something, and they think that is the thing that they're seeking. But I don't think the bigger picture is looked at.
Yeah. Well, I guess the hard part with nobody ever telling you this stuff, with nobody having conversations like this.
I wasn't told it when I was a kid.
No, I know you weren't. I'm not saying that you were. By any
no
means.
one is.
Yeah. That's what
Who
I'm
is?
saying. That perhaps the challenge in this is that you have to discover it at some point, or you don't. I guess like
you have to discover it, or you have to hear it. You have to be told it. Whatever, you've got to bump into it
somehow. Yeah, and then you have to decide: am I going to learn from this? Am I going to? How do I develop it? Because man, I've met so many people in our lives that they actively remove themselves from positions of learning. Right? They know what they know, and they're done. Period. They're going to live their life the way they want to live, and they're not going to change in any way. And I also know people who are so far out on the other extreme that they're dabbling in everything. They have no direction in general. And so finding your own understanding of that and then continually seeking it, I guess, is the real question that we have to keep asking. Is like, is this it? 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 Until we can get a broad enough spectrum of what it isn't to understand what it is that we're actually seeking.
Like Orson Welles in the editing room, as he's clipping things, they're on the floor of the clipping room. So that is life, he's collecting the movie. Now he's got the totality of a life. And then he's in the editing room clipping. Now he's compressing a life. And what is it all being compressed down into? It's not 2 hours of random facts. It's a message. It's a moment. It's got an arc, a story. It's got a protagonist. It's got a etc. When you think about a movie, when you think about what Orson Welles is trying to portray, it's just not 2 hours of facts. It has to have rhythm. It has to have big picture. It's got to have richness. It's got to have many things, but every life has all of these things if you can tell your story well. And I think where things maybe go a bit wrong is people are trying to tell their literal story rather than try to live a rich movie.
Interesting, because that means you have to be in all chairs at once, which is the challenge, right? You're the actor and the director and the
Why is it
photographer,
difficult though?
because each one of those things requires a
A
separate
lot.
mindset.
Yeah,
as
it
we say.
requires a lot. It requires it requires being really engaged, being really in your own movie.
Well, not only that, it requires you to be able to wear different hats. And I think people like to wear, their comfortable hat. They know this hat. I'm going to wear this hat forever, and it's good. This is my hat.
It's
Whatever
great,
that
man.
hat is.
That's great,
Yeah.
So, at what point do you want to be the stagehand for the catering company that delivers the crustless cucumber sandwiches for the movie that you're not part of?
Yeah. I can't see many people choosing that as their
Who would?
Yeah.
Right?
But it needs to be. You still
But-
need someone to do that.
Who would? But most people are living that position.
Yeah, that's true. That's interesting. Not only living it, but living it without realizing it, without thinking about it.
It stings when you start realizing it, though.
That you are the stagehand, but also
of your own freaking movie, brah.
Freaking movie. Interesting. I remember back in the day, there used to be this trend of like, who would you get to play you in the movie of your life?
Oh yeah, right.
And I remember people talking about it. This was when I was young, maybe a teenager, and people would laugh about it and be like, "Oh,
Brad Pitt.
I'd have Brad Pitt," or I think
that's going to be my answer. The entire show is Brad Pitt. I don't even care what movie we're talking about. It's Brad Pitt, baby.
I'll take him as. I think he's a bit tall to play you, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. And he doesn't have the abs that I've got.
But that's an interesting play here too. Is like, who would you? What persona would you pick to play you in the movie?
I don't know, man. That's a good one.
Because
I don't really think about those things. I've never really thought about it, and I know that used to be a little game back in the day, and I just didn't play it because it's not how I think. But I don't know who I would get to play me.
But I'm not actually asking that question,
okay.
But I'm wondering about like the question I have in my mind is what is the persona? What is the thing that you look at your life, the lens that you look at your life through it, that if you were to deliver it to someone else, what would that look like? Who would be that person? What would be the thing? And I think a lot of people would choose someone else first off, versus picking themselves to play themselves in their own movie.
No, that's crazy, man. I am my own leading man. I mean, forget about that.
But the first
my
person
acting would suck, but you're getting me. There's no doubt about it.
So, like, here we go. Littlefoot jumped in. Warwick Davis could play Shaun.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who it is either. But Dan sees there's Sean Connery, baby. There we go,
baby.
But I think that's a good question to ask yourself in terms of.
Dude.
Listen, little game to play.
No joke. There is absolutely no one that I would accept playing me. Now, someone could force it. Like someone could say, "Oh, it's going to be Brad Pitt, or it's going to be Matthew McConaughey, or whoever. Name an actor. I don't care.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson, whatever."
You know what? That's not a bad choice.
Why not? So I don't know who I would get. I don't think anyone, because quite frankly, I don't think anyone could do me except me, because I'm a freak.
I say maybe Jack Nicklaus.
Nobody, man.
Back in his prime.
No, I swear, I don't think anyone could do me. I don't. None of them.
I agree. I don't think anybody could play you except you. And
that's right.
But
but isn't that the way it's supposed to be, though?
You would think, but I don't.
No, I'm going from a sec. Not that you would think.
Let me rephrase.
No. Let's
me
be a
rephrase.
little bit stronger now.
I'm going to look at my own experience, and there have been many times in my life where I wanted to be somebody else. I wanted somebody else to play me.
Okay.
But now, like, I really like the life that I have built,
No, that's a different thing.
and I like
That's
me
a
as
different thing. That's
I
a different
understand.
thing. Yeah.
Well, let me elucidate here.
Okay.
uh, and I can't see anybody else doing it except me. Like, I can't see anybody else trying to replicate or be able to tell the story any better than I would now, because I have not only the experience but the elocution to bring it.
Now you're thinking acting.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking acting. It's less for me about the acting per se, and it's more about I just don't know anyone who's like freaky enough to be me. That's how I think. And if I could say it a different way.
Okay.
But that's how I think.
Yeah.
I just don't know anyone who could be me because they're just not freaky enough
Mm.
in Hollywood.
Right.
I've got friends who are freaks for sure. That's not the point. I'm not saying that I'm the freakiest of freaks.
Yeah.
But I'm freaky enough that Hollywood just couldn't do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Couldn't do it justice.
No.
Interesting.
Wouldn't you want that though?
I mean,
come on now, think about it. Like, okay, just think about it for a sec. I don't think this way. So what I'm going to propose right now is like a new stuff, or I've never said it out before. But when you think about Hollywood, most dudes want to be like, I don't know, Jason Bourne or like whatever.
Rambo, whatever.
They're hardcore, whatever.
Yeah.
And so let's say if we take that and now concretize it, like formalize it. Oh, okay. So you want to be Jason Bourne. What would you do? What does that look like to you? What does that feel like to you? How would you think if that was the case? Well, that's how I think. That's what I do. That's who I am. And I'm not saying that I'm Jason Bourne, but I have a certain style about me that is a thing. And I believe in that thing. And I don't disbelieve that I'm not it. And so
you're Sean Taylor. Like
I am me.
Yep. Yeah.
And I buy into that. Like strongly. It's not that I support it, because no one should support me. But what I do is I buy into it. I believe it. I am it. And so I think some guys don't believe they are what they are. They believe they are something else, and that's what they're chasing. And that something else is someone else.
Yeah.
When really what they should do is chase themselves, believe in themselves, want to be themselves, That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, sorry, this one just came in and it hit me. I can't. Dancing says Steve. Yes.
Why not?
100%. To your point though, the
what's a real problem right now for me? What? It's this in the podcast. I'm starting to have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And this moment is it's actually good.
Yeah.
Like this moment could be watched by millions. It never will be. It'll be watched by like maybe 3 or 4 people or whatever. But it's gold, man. It's fun. But there's truth behind 100%. All of these things, right?
Yep. Absolutely. And as much as we do giggle and laugh, that is that is Shaun and I's interaction. We could be deeply discussing this.
That's right.
As well.
We could be talking dead bodies and we're still going to do the thing.
Yeah, exactly. To your point though, that damn, I had it and then I lost it.
Dude, it was going to be so good as
well. It was really good.
It was the one that was going to win.
Well, let me hit some comments.
Internet.
Let me hit some comments and it'll come back
to me.
Steve Buscemi just threw me off like that. Littlefoot says, if you amputate your legs, you won't have to worry about knee injuries ever again.
That's true.
That is very true. I'll just have a whole nother bottle of issues there. Yeah. Littlefoot says, Chance, if you want to give her space, drop to the East Coast for woodworking, flight paid, hotel paid, food. Oh, all right. Just saying.
Do you know what? I'm going to once again acknowledge with a head nod towards Littlefoot and the gang. Like I've spoken to him and like he's got the best of intentions for any veterans out there that are not in the hurt locker, but just want to become a better person. He's made that offer to me. He's made that
Mhm.
offer to several people. And chance, maybe it'd be a great opportunity.
Yeah. I haven't been in a wood shop in a number of years, and I did love woodworking back in the day when I
Mm.
was doing it. So it is the struggle is time and scheduling and kids and all this other stuff. But I
Yeah.
will
Well,
think
they
about
start school shortly, right?
they do.
Hmm.
I will process that. So I
Hmm.
appreciate it. Bunsey sent Jones jumps in here. What a great discussion.
Oh,
Amazing. Thanks.
wow.
Appreciate it. There you go. Got a little peace sign from Shaun. Dan
I
C
wonder if
says,
I know them though. My question, so all of the call signs that pop up on the YouTubes and on
yeah.
IG and Facebook or
Hmm.
whatever, the Facebooky, I might know that individual. I hope I know them.
Yeah.
Maybe I know them. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But
But
it's hard to tell,
it
right?
it is.
Yeah. I've had a
And
couple of
and right
people hit
away
me
I'm
up
like,
with
I wonder if I know that dude. I hope
it.
he's a good dude.
Hmm. Hmm.
I hope we work together. I hope, but I still don't know, you know?
Yeah. It's tough with the call signs because you even with names as well, like my memory for names is not great. And
Dude, mine's the
it is
worst.
yeah, I don't
Sometimes
know
I
about
don't
that
even
much.
remember what I did yesterday. Welcome to TBI.
Yeah, exactly. I struggle with memory for quite a bit. Where were we here? Great discussion. Good. Greg jumps in here, says always grateful for your sharing. And Littlefoot, once again, we can make the bench taller for
Dude, you know, honestly, when
you. We'd have to.
when I said you should go out there, in my mind I thought, but they're gonna have to make a taller bench for chance. I
Yeah,
just didn't say it out loud.
it's so true. And you know what? I would appreciate that. A lot of the chairs
It could be
too
your
tall for me.
project.
That could
You
be my
could make
project.
your own taller bench,
You know what? One of
right?
the things I had for many years, and I gave it to my mom years ago, but it was my first stool that I made, and it was made out of ash, and it was a beautiful little stool that I made. And I, it's not that kind of stool,
That's right.
but like a little footrest, little footstool.
Mm,
And it was around our house for years and years and years and years. And then I don't know what happened to it after. I think my mom either got broken by one of the grandkids, and then but it lasted for like 25 years since I made it.
mm.
Like it was a good one before it actually got disappeared. So I do love woodworking. It is a blast.
Hey, you know
I,
what woodworking does do? Just reminded me when I was a kid doing woodworking class in high school.
mhm,
You used to pay attention to the wood. You know, you said
yeah.
black walnut.
Hmm.
So like you thought about and selected the wood specifically for the purpose that you were going to use it for,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like there was strategy, there was reasoning, there was critical thought to
Hmm.
some degree. And you know, as an aside, there's also in woodwork class where you just get the cheapest piece of wood so they can make your nunchucks after hours
100%. Yep.
when the woodworking teacher isn't there. So like
Yep.
there's two different styles of approaching life.
Yep.
But when you're consciously making decisions on black walnut as the example, it that doesn't happen that often anymore.
Yeah. That's
When
very
you
true.
think about it, like it just these kind of long range thinking, sort of planning and visualizing, it just doesn't happen quite as much, you know?
Well, I think also we don't have to know what we were looking for anymore. Like
I
that's, you know
suppose,
what I mean?
right.
Spoiled for choice is
Yeah,
that like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
um, I look at that in terms of woodworking or even metalwork or because I took wood shop through junior high and high school. I took metal shop in high
Yeah,
school
me
as
too.
well. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was building stuff since I was little. And the thing that I really love about building was the fact that you have to do that whole planning sequence of like
Mm,
you have to
mm,
ideate and then you have to figure out like what's it going to look like and then you got to figure out okay well what type of wood do I want to use, how long is it going to last, what type of use is this going to have, do I need to make it as something really sturdy or can it be lighter, et cetera, right? And that type of development doesn't happen anymore because you
yeah.
can
Not as much.
not as
Yeah.
much, yeah, I should say not as much. It is a it's a skill. I think that's why I like jujitsu as well, because like you have to build techniques on techniques on techniques
Mhm.
until you stop thinking about techniques, and then you start building in strategies, and then those things start to disappear. Like I really enjoy um, I like doing the math. Like that's
Mm.
the easiest way as I can put it, right? I enjoy doing that. Whereas I know some people really struggle with it, but I quite enjoy
Yeah.
the creation ideation process, and the then when the outcome arrives, that's my struggle, is I couldn't care less about the outcome after it's out. Is I don't let myself not maybe not enjoy the moment, but I don't see it as I lose respect for the moment. Perhaps that's the way I want to put it.
I understand the general spirit of what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe that's part of my struggle with all this, is that even when I succeed, I don't allow myself to succeed. And so it just continually feels like a cascade failure.
Yeah. Well, then you're identifying the wrong direction. If your direction is identified as success, or if your direction is identified as failure, whichever direction you identify as the one that you're pursuing, like I pursue failures.
Mm-hmm.
It's a large part of my life. I actively create failure in my life. Like at one point when I was younger, I just actively pursued winning and success, but
Mm-hmm.
that only teaches you so much. Pursuing failure teaches me way more. And so that's where most of my life is nowadays. And so
Mm-hmm.
first of all, you got to identify what you're pursuing. And then once you've identified that, then you've got the milestones along the way to the win or the success. And those milestones, maybe they're big milestones, maybe they're tiny milestones, but along the way, you got to recognize them
Mm-hmm.
in order to yardstick your progress,
Yeah.
to understand if you're actually heading in the right direction that you self-selected. And so while I do appreciate what you're saying, because I live my life the same way, like these are mere fleeting glances for me on a podium. What's next?
Mm-hmm.
What's next? They still have to be recognized. They still have to be treated as a check.
Yeah.
Green mark. They have to. Otherwise, are you turning in circles? Are you heading backwards and forwards at the same time? We need milestones. We need check marks.
Right. Because you're not. Yeah, that's the whole point of building little Inukshuk's, right? Check marks, checkpoints.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and your context. Your context is wonky if you're not like formalizing your context.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can say anyone can say, "Well, I've got better context than you." Okay, cool. Start listing off your context for me right now. Well, what I like to do is I like to think a lot. No, that's not what I said. Give me your context.
Mm-hmm.
2 million words last year. Is that your context? Oh, you thought a lot. You wrote a lot. What's a lot? 1?
Yeah.
12 billion? Now tell me the truth. What is it? Because you're thinking, but you're not outcoming. You're talking, but you're not showing. You're imagining, but you're not providing. And so,
Yeah.
milestones.
Well, I mean, milestones for sure. But I was going to say, what is the value of the outcome? I guess really, and that goes back to what we were talking about, where we have to understand what we're doing ahead of time. Because I was just thinking about jiu-jitsu in terms of my own goals and aspirations. Is that I went into it with a idea of I want to learn this to be more capable. And in the last little while, I feel like I have been right. Check. Now I'm capable.
Mm-hmm.
Now where do I go with it? And it was similar.
But that is life. So don't. No one should ever like identify whatever their little plan is. And then when they arrive at their plan, now what? Like the now what is every day. Every day is the evolution of the plan. And so when you arrive, quote unquote, at the finish line of the plan, you blew it. You never got in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
You arrived at a thing that you knew you were heading towards, and then you treated it like an ambush, like it was I'm here. Oh, geez. Now what? I made it.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, woodwork. This is a great example from woodworking, and this is again, I'm using myself as an example, so I hope that people are getting value out of this. But for myself, when I built a table, right? Yay! I built the table. Check. Okay, good. And I could. I can't say I could. I would then leave it as like a check mark in the distance, right? Like, oh, I can now woodwork. Good to go, right? I got an elk. I can hunt. And so in those check marks, without any larger goal behind them, they don't mean anything.
So
There's no
then the logical extension is I can make a chair. Good.
yeah,
Or can I make a chair well?
yeah, and that's
I can hunt.
can I
Check.
hunt well? Yeah,
Can I hunt well?
yeah. And so this is what I'm learning in the process is
Mm.
everyone's seeing it real time. But I know I've struggled with that in the past for many years, and I still struggle with it now. Even when I do hard things, I don't see them as hard once I've done them because I've done them.
You've accumulated them.
I've accumulated them. That's a good point. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But I haven't applied them.
Well,
Haven't.
no,
Well, I
not
can't say I
necessarily
haven't
true,
applied them.
and I can be quite rapid and pedantic in this moment right now because I literally just wrote a chapter about
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we're talking about this week, and like it'll be what you want it to be, and you'll think about it as deeply as you want or not, and you can turn this conversation into a lifelong pursuit, or you can turn it into a blink of the eye and you've forgotten it already. You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, that's very true. As you said earlier, we are the star of our own movie.
Well,
We're the
yeah.
star, and we really it is. We have to.
Yeah, and you're the star of your own movie, and you're also the guy who's mucking the toilets,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and the advertiser
Yeah,
and the director and
yeah.
the all the things, all the crustless sandwich deliverers,
I had
the
a guy at my
production
house,
assistants and stuff. Yeah.
yesterday came over and, had a coffee
Mhm.
and a nice little Ethiopia Bombay, lot number 3,
Mm.
and, as he was enjoying it, he's like he doesn't know that much about me. He said, like, how long have you, enjoyed coffee?" I was like, "Oh, quite a while." "What do you think of your coffee?" "Oh, it's nice. Where'd you get it from?" "I roasted it." "Oh, you roast? Where'd you get" And so, like, now I'm telling them the story, and it eventually gets to, "Well, where did it start?" And so at some point, I'm talking about, "Well, I owned a second cup in Calgary for a couple of years and blah, blah, blah." "Well, you owned a coffee shop." And so all of the questions, they're all good, but they're all through his lens, and they're all very veneer, very surface, very
Mm.
like, and so at one point I looked at him and said, "Yeah, it probably sounds like really exciting and fun, except when you're in your own toilet mopping up the mess of the crack addict who was just in there." And so staff doesn't do that. Sean does that. And Sean is living the leading man life of the guy with a mop in his hand.
Mhm.
And so it's not all like, it's not that the guy gets the girl and ducks him and then goes in for the kiss and Hollywood wins. It ain't. It's a mop bucket, baby.
I was. It just reminds me of a thought I had. I was going to bring it up as a topic in a podcast later on, but uh, we were watching Anastasia. My kids are going on a Disney cruise with
Oh, okay.
right, and so we were watching for the last while. We've been watching a lot of Disney stuff to get them
Wow.
up on Disney life, Disney
Yeah. All
lore,
right.
whatever. Anyway, right at the end of the movie, it's the happily ever after moment,
Mm,
right? Everything works
mandatory.
out. Huzzah! They lift the girl, they do the duck, they do
Disney
the thing,
life.
whatever, right? Right. Um, and it reminds me, I can't remember the name of the movie now, but it's from Coppola did it back in the 80s.
Okay.
The main character grabs the leading lady and like they elope during her wedding. That she runs off from her own
Oh,
wedding
okay. Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
he takes her off like and they jump on the bus and everything's
All right.
exciting.
We're
And they're like, yeah,
winning.
woo, yeah. And then the
Yeah.
camera lingers on them and they just kind of like settle into like, oh, okay, now we have
Right.
all the
Right.
what
Where'd the
comes
excitement go?
next. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And I think that's to what you're saying. That is most people see that moment. They want the
They
win,
won the fireworks.
the
Yeah.
fireworks, and then the cleanup, the afterwards, and yeah, that's it. It is a lot of work. Fireworks is a ton of work
Yeah.
prior
It is.
to
Yeah.
one big bang,
Yeah.
and then another couple of hours for the cleanup. Hunting is the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like hours and hours at work to one super exciting moment, and then hours worth of work that you got to then.
So, you know what writing is?
It's a whole lot
Writing
of
is
work.
taking an entire life
Yeah.
of listening to you and the guy down the street
Yeah.
and everyone in my life and swapping ideas and arguing and and not believing, and then not believing again, then calling an idea stupid, and
Mhm.
then rediscovering that it's smart. And so that's 63 years of all of that, damn near. And
Mhm.
so writing is not just my ideas. Writing is a compression of a life that is a result of thinking about Orson Welles,
Mhm.
or thinking about you running around in your mom's house, or whatever, man.
Yeah.
Like, it is a result of the experience of life being compressed down into a written term that hopefully does something with it. And what is it? Is it life? Is it the collective wisdom? Is it the universe compressing a story onto a page? Dude, there's many ways you can slice and dice it all, but I'll tell you what, nothing will appear on a page that's worth the ink it's written with unless you take time to compress your ideas into something that reflects not just you, but the world around you.
Yeah. And I mean, that compression requires a lot of direct thought, direct
Yeah, it
energy,
does.
direct um, rumination almost, if you really want to break it down.
Well, if you want to, right now, I'm literally deciding the movie of the book.
Mhm.
The books that I'm writing, each book is a different movie to some degree. They're very different. One's probably a horror, one's a science fiction,
Mhm.
but they're very different genres. And to compress them down into two very different genres in and of itself, the friction between the two genres is like the edge of Event Horizon. And
Mhm.
so, you know, you should do some writing. I've told you that before, and I know that the newsletter is a start.
Yeah. I
But
should. Yeah.
once you start compressing your life down into something that is tangibly useful for others other than yourself,
Mhm.
that's when you'll start learning a lot about yourself.
Yeah. That's a great point. And I have been neglecting writing in a while for a while, so that is
Mhm.
a piece that I need.
Your
I
writing is improved.
For sure.
Within all of that's good.
But those are they're
That's good.
tasks. Like
They
they're
are.
not
They
they're
are.
not
They're little homework pieces.
yeah, they're not me
They're not you
writing as
thinking
per
about
se.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
And quite frankly, they're not you becoming a better version of you.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Mhm.
You're absolutely right. Okay, now I got some comments, and then we'll
I
probably
know.
shut
I
it
could
down
see
for
it. I saw it a few
so
minutes
many.
ago.
There's so
Wow.
many. It's so bad.
So distracted.
Littlefoot says, we made a 20-inch high bench for a fellow without legs. If you do the
Right.
class, someone will build a bench for you at the height requested. To make it sound pretty
It's
good.
Inception, man. It's Inception. It's
It really is.
bench Inception. You've got to build
Bench,
your own bench chance.
benchception right there.
Benchception.
Bunzi jumps in here and says, cheers from London. We met up on my drive across Canada.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. Dan C jumps in, says, I'm turning his and hers urns right now for friends. I picked the wood for each based on my idea of their personalities.
Oh, that's
That's I
interesting.
like that.
Hey,
I like that
yeah,
thought.
yeah.
Greg K jumps in.
I
I
mean, that could
can
be kind of creepy, right,
no, no, I
dude?
don't think so.
I listen. I don't think so either. But what I'm stating is,
Could
I
it be
think
construed as
right?
creepy?
Yeah. Like, there's
Yeah,
going to be
I mean,
someone out there
sure.
that's going to think like, "Whoa, I
Yeah,
don't think that," but there's going to be.
that's a good point.
And like, let's not just like blow right past that. And oh yeah, everyone should think that urns are cool like that, because I doubt it.
Yeah, I guess I was looking at it from a like I don't really even process people's
Correct.
those choices.
You processed yours.
Well, no, what I was going to say was that I understand that everybody's going to make choices that are different. I don't have any desire to be in an urn somewhere. that that makes no sense to me. But like I scattered my grandfather's ashes in one of the spots that he wanted to be that I normally hunt at, like it's out in the mountains and stuff like that. So like everybody has their choice. That's what I
Correct.
was coming at it from. Is that
I
it?
know.
All right. Okay. Cool.
I know. What I'm saying is everyone understands the choices, but they don't understand everyone's choice through everyone's lens and think like
Through their lens.
you
Yes. Right.
thought and I
Yeah.
thought the same thing. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Good
Yeah.
man, Dan.
Neat.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought. That's what you thought. No
Yeah.
doubt. But there will be someone who will have the contrary position.
That is. Yep. A
And
great
I
point.
like to run the contrary immediately through my mind right after I've done a good one, Dan. And then I think, I wonder who else is thinking the opposite, or where's the variations, or what's the angles? Let's slice the pie. I've got this slice. What's the other slice look like? You know?
Yeah. This is good, but what else is there?
Correct.
Raj, yeah, I get that. All right. Greg says, great case is, I can see how the topic of spoiled for choice relates to Sean's comment on just being oneself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
with all the choices we have, we're here just ourselves seeking like-minded folks. And then he carries on, just curious, what's the projected release of the book?
That's a great question. Take a breath. It's called box breathing. Or we could go with psychological sigh. Or we could go with breath of courage.
Breath of courage.
3 breaths that I just wrote about just a little while ago.
Breath of courage. That's a great line. The breath of courage.
Right. Yeah. And do you know what the breath of courage is?
No, I don't. That's the first time I've ever heard it.
Okay. It's just a little pro bono. Just a little bit of gold for you. So breath of courage is like it's a term that is loosely used to denote a moment. And a breath of courage is something that you might hear in special operations or in door kickers, or it could be in Leo. It could be in any moment where you're like about to do a thing, right? Like however you want to do your own breath of courage. But as I have described it in the book, and I'm not going to build this out into, the chapter per se, but it's just a small piece in the book. It's how you kind of, to some degree, ground yourself before you do a thing, and a thing that's difficult. Not just like step out your door or start your car or go get groceries or not ride a bike, not do BJJ.
Yeah.
Maybe your breath of courage is as you park in front of the dojo, you've got to do a breath of courage to get out of your car to go and do the thing. And so that breath of courage is simply I'm freaking, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm focused. It's happening.
Game on.
Let's kick that ass. And so you've got to have a breath of courage before every moment where you're facing the unknown or you're facing the unbroken. And so it's just that recognition of it's going to happen, man.
Yep.
This is going my way, period. Now it might not play out your way, but before you kick that door, before you do that thing, like you've got to get with the program. You've got to get in the moment. And you can't do it in your head. You can't think like, well, here I am. Now I'm going to do my thing. That ain't enough. You've got to have that trigger like,
Yep.
It can last a second. It can last 10 seconds, whatever you need. It can last a split second. But every time you're doing that next door, it's like, and so you got to have your thing. And so breath of courage.
I like that. I was talking to when I went on that canoeing trip a couple years back. I was talking to
I went on a tangent.
Oh,
and now you're going to tangent my tangent.
I was just
so it was about the book.
The book, yes.
My
breath of courage. There you go.
So take a breath of courage as I deliver the not great news. So I'm writing. All I'm doing is writing. Right. I'm not doing anything to do with the book. Seb is doing all the book stuff. In case anyone isn't overly familiar, trying to create a digital publishing house. And the two books that are first coming out are part of that sequence of events: The High Fidelity Mind and The Warrior in the Garden. High Fidelity Mind is already written. That's now in Friesen Press, the largest publishing house in Canada, to deliver the book. As I understood, it would be ready for the end of August, but that isn't the case. And I'm getting updates. I'm not at all, not even for 1 second, involved in any of that process. I know nothing about it. Seb just informed me a few days ago that he misunderstood the process, and this is not his fault. He misunderstood it, and when he said end of August, what he really meant was maybe the end of this year. And so I'm just writing.
I've seen that face before.
You have seen that. Yep. And so check. And so I continue to write. my expectation is because I've pretty much rounded out chapter 11 of The Warrior in the Garden, and I'm just going to say it. And this, I will regret saying this, but I'm being truthful.
Okay.
And someone else out there would care not to say what I'm going to say. They wouldn't say this because they would only be considerate of commercial success. I don't need money. I don't even want to be known.
Mm-hmm.
So commercial success does not matter to me at all. I feel that the first book, The High Fidelity Mind, is nowhere near as good as The Warrior in the Garden. As I'm writing it right now, like The Warrior in the Garden will be game changing. There's no doubt about it. It is a spectacular book.
Mm-hmm.
The High Fidelity Mind is the book that I had to write in order to write how I'm writing now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was the first year of the collective. That was your
That's
like,
right.
we're going to smash. Let's do
That's
it.
right. That's right. That's right. So to answer the question succinctly, I would say that the books, I believe both of them will be out by the end of year for Christmas.
All right. That's not bad. I mean, August to the end of the year is not great, but it's not bad. So
as the old saying goes, it is what it is.
It is what it is. The comment I was going to make before in our tangents was I was talking to a surgeon, and her in the game moment was the snapping of her gloves.
Oh yeah.
So, like she would do all the thing, and then the last kind of like,
yeah,
game's on, let's go.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Like so there's if it's anything we can have as a physical response to stress.
Yeah, and people call it a trigger. You know, like trigger is being, as far as I'm concerned, it is being misapplied.
Yeah,
it has been to some degree co-opted in a way that isn't great. You know. Yeah. Now triggering is all about the negative aspect, but like I use triggers constantly in my life, on not just on the daily, but on the minute.
Yeah.
There's constantly triggers actuating conscious and unconscious heuristics in my life on the regular.
Well, I mean, a trigger is a that's a good word for it. It's an actuator. It just does things.
Well, it's a gate,
an on or off. Yeah,
it's a gate.
It's a binary
gate situation. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And as a gate, it doesn't have to be a conscious gate. When you think about it, you can stream a process and run through 100 gates until you get to the 97th gate when you need to be aware of the process. So,
yeah. And I mean, we use that all the time. I think about driving. You have triggers
always
left, right, and center to do. I need to do X. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Dan C jumps in here. He says, "Awesome show yet again, boys. Play safe. Good to see you. I like it." And he says, "I'm afraid I'll be haunted for life if I don't do them right." That's a good point.
Speaking of which, haunted, the guy who was at my house yesterday for the coffee, he was also born and raised in for part of his young life, and I started telling him the ghost story.
Oh yeah,
from the haunted pub, and he. It's not that he was tripping out, but his eyes were like buggy.
Isn't it interesting the levels of context that each one of us have, and when we interact with each other, we get to see.
Well, dude, he couldn't even believe it was coming out of my voice. Like he couldn't even believe that was Shaun talking.
Yeah,
because people like I'm
there's
wearing a Canadian Sniper Association hat, and right now I've got like this persona.
Yeah,
but then I'm in my kitchen sipping a coffee and I'm telling a ghost story, and it wasn't computing for him. You know what I mean?
This is the interesting part, and we're going to do another podcast. I think we've done one before on like the notoriety relationship. It's like when people know you, but only a small portion of you from whatever, and or they think they know you from from a small.
Well, they know a version of you.
That's a good point.
It's not a case of they think they know you. They do know you, but their version of you.
Yeah, their version of you. Yeah.
Like, and you could probably argue with them that that's not the version of me. That's not me. But it is for them.
For them, yeah.
Right.
It's their representation of you.
Right. And then you know what the more interesting question for me anyway, the deeper
Yeah.
question is always the interesting question is, well, who's right and wrong?
I don't think either people are wrong. I don't think either
Well,
people
hang
are
on a
right
sec.
though,
Don't be so
because
hasty to
no,
answer that.
I don't think either one is right or wrong.
Well, that's your answer now.
Yeah.
We can wait for the show.
I think I really see the world in a very yin yang kind of.
Right now you do. Yeah.
All things are both sides. So
Yeah, it's
right
true.
now I
It's
do.
true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we shall see. When I open
We
the
shall.
cat, when I open the box and check on the cat, we'll see what happens.
That's right.
Bunsey jumps in and says, "What an insane amount of output." Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Shaun is all about the output. And then Littlefoot jumps in and says, "When will there be a Shaun on Mushroom talking about the universe podcast?" That would be an interesting podcast to say the least.
You know what? Here's the thing. I do, generally speaking, try to allow it to flow on the regular, though I'm not on any microdosing or anything right now. Of course, I don't take anything before I do a podcast, but I'm trying to let not my stream of consciousness go, but I'm trying to let it rip. I'm trying to let it give her this conversation nowadays for quite some time now, since we've been doing this podcast for a while.
Yeah.
That's what I do, man. Like I let it rip. I try not to clamp down on it too much. I try not to tighten it up too much. I try to let y'all see a little bit of me anyway.
Yeah. And I think I know I've learned to ride the edge of my own capacity in the moments, which is it's been a learning experience for sure of like what is too much, what is not enough.
What is too much, right?
And
but then that begs the question: well, what is too much? What do you in your mind define as too much? Do you define it? I'll simplify it one of two ways, because there's many ways it could be done, but very clearly and simply two ways. Do you hold back because you are concerned about learning something about yourself in the moment? And I would say it's not that. Or do you concern yourself with giving too much because you'll expose yourself to the world and the world will see you in a way that you don't want them to see? In essence, you're showing too much and they'll see you for what you are. I'll say it's the second for 99 out of 100 people. They just don't let it rip because they're concerned about how they will appear.
Yes. For most, yes. I know that.
And when I say most, I mean like all.
I think that's a baseline for sure. I think for most people it's a baseline. I know for me it was for a long time.
It probably still is when you think about it.
Well, I'm thinking about it right now, and I don't perhaps care about my own. What I care about, and it's not that I'm presenting a persona or anything like that. It's that I have to draw a very strict line between my family and the interactions that they have with me.
Yeah, but that's got no bearing in this conversation, you know.
But it does, because I'm talking about my personal life, and so like I'm not holding back.
Let's pretend you don't have a family.
Okay.
Let's pretend you don't even live in a house. Let's pretend you live in a ditch.
Yeah.
So none of those things have got any bearing on what we're talking about.
Okay. Then no, I'm letting it rip right now. This is who I am.
I mean, I would say that you kind of are, but you also shape your language in a not a protective sense, but in a interpretation sense, or how people will view you. I wouldn't say you're being so raw and vulnerable that you're not shaping the optics. I would say you shape the optics to some degree. I shape the optics.
I definitely shape the language.
Right.
And I shape the language.
But do you know why? Is where I'm really going, actually.
I shape the language because you and the interactions that you and I have had require a level of professionalism in the job.
And so then where are you ultimately taking it then?
Ultimately taking the...
Yeah, what you're trying to do in so doing. And shaping the optics, why are you ultimately doing
that? To best present the information.
What information? That present what?
whatever information is in front of me. So right now, like who I am as a person, the struggles that I'm going through, and the difficulties in life, I'm presenting out so that people can learn.
There it is. Okay.
And the better way to do that is to be more eloquent, to use the vocabulary to its best, so that people get help.
Right. So then,
People
in
gain from it.
essence, you're shaping your message in a way that hopefully not gains traction, but helps the most amount of people in a variety of different ways. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Which is basically, yeah, you're right. I am shaping the image to,
Because I do as well.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Have to.
Yeah.
Because then if I wasn't, it'd be a different show. It'd be a
That's true.
wilder show, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, who then, I guess we wouldn't really know. We've never really tried it to really push that edge of,
Well, I do. I just don't
yeah.
do it in front of a microphone.
Yeah.
I'll do it right in my living room. I'll do it on a bike on the side of a trail with another dude. I'll do it at up peg jump. I'll do it everywhere else but in front of a microphone.
That's a good point. Yeah.
The microphone is a different thing
Yeah.
than a person, the guy who's in front of me, or the guys who are in front of me, or the moment. That moment is different than this moment.
For sure. And it has to be it has to be regulated to the best of the medium's capacity. Right. So like we can only do so much remotely. Like you and I are not sitting in the same room. We're not able to. So we have to.
But I didn't understand that at the start.
Neither did I.
I had my way. And I still have my way when I'm not in front of a microphone. But I didn't understand the difference. And so I was having my way while I had a microphone in front of me. I was doing me normally, as I do. Non-microphone Shaun.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work in front of a microphone because it doesn't translate the same way. Because usually when I'm non-microphone Shaun, I'm looking at a guy in the Mark I eyeballs and I know what's happening. But when you're speaking into a microphone, you're speaking to the nebulous void. You're not looking the Mark I eyeball. And so just got to do it different in front of a microphone.
Yeah. And I would go so far as to say that your 3D version of Shaun, the in-person Shaun, has changed dramatically from back in the day as well, just from having to do this. So
for sure,
it's one of those, I'm digging this. I like it. Last couple comments and then we'll shut her down here for the day. Littlefoot jumps in, says, off topic, if you could only ever own and read what book? Or read one book, what book would that be? That's a good question.
I would, I would say this, and I don't like saying things like this out loud because if it doesn't come to be, it irks me.
Okay.
Because I've made not a bold claim, but I've made a prediction. And I don't want it to be a prediction. I'm only going to say what I believe, and it is this: The Warrior in the Garden.
I thought that's what you were going to say. Having not read it yet, like I've only gotten pieces of it, it's a great.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
So, like, and, I mean, the pieces
this
that I've
is
gotten
just such a different book now.
Back in the I was going to say that like the pieces that I've gotten have been changed and iterated to the point.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I gotta say the interesting thing that clicked in my brain here was the book that I would choose is not what most people would choose, and it's The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, nice. It's a good one, man.
Yeah, and I think that is the as a trilogy, the whole thing, right? But
yeah, no, it's good
because there's so many lessons in that, and there's so much you can pull from it. I think, and it's a great story, it's a great read, great all that stuff. So,
well, it is. I mean, if you're a great reader,
yeah.
And so, like, I know people who aren't great readers, and that doesn't make them bad people. That just makes them not great readers.
That's correct. Yeah.
And so then if you're not a great reader, like I'm a great reader, and we raised our sons to be great readers, and they are so thankful for that. But if you're not a great reader, now what? So I love Tolkien as well. As a kid, like, it was probably the richest universe I had at the time.
Yep.
And I immersed myself in it. I read that series several times, as have our boys.
Mhm.
And so I totally feel what you're saying. But now you're not a reader. Now what?
Mm. I'm going to go with another one of my favorites, but that doesn't require the depth of reading. But Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another good one.
Okay. I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I dig.
Okay.
Yeah. I got no issues with that.
Yeah. And I think the big distinction was just the like the language used, because they're pretty similar in terms of lessons, perhaps, but they're just written so differently.
Yeah.
And
Maybe more consumable.
yeah, a little bit more consumable for sure, but
Mhm.
teaches a very similar lesson.
Yeah.
And yeah, those would be my choices, I think.
Yeah. Nice.
Good
I
one.
dig. I dig.
Yeah. USAF jumps in here, says better than a gardener in a war. Indeed.
Or
Depending, I gotta say, and this is the thing,
yes, I suppose. I was quick to, because I agree, but
yeah, I agree as
there is
well.
more depth to it.
But you do need gardeners during war.
Yeah.
People have to
And
eat.
you know what? Quite frankly, and this is going to be controversial.
They might be more important.
Suck it up.
Yeah.
If I've got the choice between being a warrior in a war or a gardener in a war, I'll take a gardener.
Yeah.
I mean, that's terrible, right?
That's tough, though, right? That's a tough.
Isn't that terrible?
Distinction. I don't think it's terrible,
but it is terrible once I add on the continuation of the logic chain, and that is, unless it's right on my front doorstep.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. I'd much rather be
Yeah.
at home in my garden doing my thing.
Right.
Unless it's there, and then if it is there,
Right.
then you're going to get it, both barrels.
Yeah. Now you're on my front door. Now you're in my garden.
Yeah. Now you're going to get it.
You're getting it right in the side of the neck with my gardening trowel.
From 50 feet away, just coming out of the trees.
And I'm already turning away and walking the other direction as it's in midair, because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah. The comment that Tim made earlier on your the photos from your backyard, and he commented like, those fields of fire are not going to work. Send out some presence patrols, and you're like, all I can do is stand here with my butter knife. And I was like,
that's right. I'm only authorized.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that like I thought in the moment, I'm like, what are you talking about? That's like Sean's playground. He would know they were coming from miles away and be sneaking behind him and like playing pranks and stuff, tying people's shoes together, and like, yeah, that would be Sean all day long.
Do you know what? Like, on just a tiny little side tangent, and it's actually relevant, and it's like kind of important to say. I bumped into a guy just yesterday, and we're having a little chat on the sidewalk, and he told me about a circumstance. I can't get into the details of it because it's actually a criminal act. And so someone showed up at his front doorstep with the crowbars, a couple of guys, and they were going to teach him a lesson in front of his son. And that's all I'll say about that. And and my response was like, what? You, when, who, why, where are they?
Yep.
And so, and he said to me, you know what? I didn't want to tell you. I don't even want to tell you their names. And I said, you're right. And so, and then I said, so why didn't you tell me about this? Why didn't you explain this to me beforehand? I could have got involved. I could have got in front of it for you.
Yep.
And he said, I thought about you. I thought about you as the guy. And so I said, now here's the thing. If you thought about me, you thought about me for a reason. And what was that reason? Now you've got to idealize why you weren't that solution, why I was that solution. Because I can't be there. I can't be the solution.
Yep.
I'm just the idealized version of it. You've got to become that for yourself. And so we had that little moment on the sidewalk. And then he said, well, I just wish you could have been there. And I said, dude, what you just described to me is my fantasy.
Yep.
It's what I want. It's like, not what I'm scared of.
The funny thing is, I think that's every man's fantasy until it becomes it. Yeah,
it
becomes the reality,
real.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm in the same boat of just like
I
Come to my door.
I
Come to my
want to be
door,
wearing the
right?
blade leather jacket in the disco with the vampires.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanna be on the plane with the zombies as they fight their way from the front to the back.
Yep.
Let's fricking go.
Yep.
That's what I want.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us, I say us in terms of men, perhaps maybe not men in general, but men that like action, that like the physicality of the human experience.
You know what I like? I like fighting injustice.
Yes, that's it. It's the fight, right? It's the
Not just
paladin
a
in you.
fight.
No, the
Fights,
fight.
I've had
I
lots
said,
of fights.
I
That's no
said
big deal.
the fight,
Injustice.
the righteous one, the one that's like you're doing good just by
That's
being
right.
there.
You've done
And
wrong.
it's
There is
on.
now a
Yeah,
correction coming.
yeah, exactly. But interesting how I would say a lot of us even that ideate about that would struggle to put that into action
Yeah,
in
for
everyday
sure.
life.
Of
You know
course,
what I
of
mean?
course. Yeah.
But that's gonna be. I'm writing that down. That's gonna be another
But
podcast.
you know,
Straight life.
like it's I'm idealizing it every day. If anyone's
Mhm.
paying attention,
Yeah.
you'll see me actioning every day on this stuff. These aren't just empty words, but they shouldn't be empty words for everyone, anyone. I mean, I'm doing it, you can do it.
Mhm.
Anyone can see what I'm doing and you
Yeah.
can replicate it. It's easy. It's easy to replicate. It's just a lot of hard work. So it's not like and there's any secret sauce. There's no secret sauce to becoming like even an operator per se.
Mhm.
There's just a lot to it. And
There
most of
is.
it is like your conviction, your priority for why you're doing things. You want to
Mhm.
become mega? Anyone can become mega, but you got to know why you're becoming mega because that's what'll get you to it.
That's the really hard part. And also, a lot of people want to be mega long before they even know what mega is. Like
Mhm.
it's just idealized. I had a young buck hit me up a little while ago. Oh my god, I'm using the term young buck like you do.
I
Uh,
know.
the he hit me up and he was like, "Yeah, man, I just joined. I'm just going through basic. I would really love your help if you could give me some advice. Blah blah blah, all the things." And he was like, "I want to go seesaw and I want to be one of the guys. I want to be at the hill. Blah blah blah." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Dude, you need to focus on finishing basic.
Right.
Like,
And finish high school.
what is in front of you right now?"
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
but yeah, the mega awesome stuff may get you in the door, but then why are you staying there? And
Mhm.
that is a critical part.
Yeah, and you know what? So you fight your way to the door. You get all the way to the big leagues, we'll call it.
Mhm.
Then you're in it. And now you don't know why you did it.
Yep.
You got there, but you don't know how and why you got there.
Yeah. I know that that's been my struggle for a long time. I can do
It
the
is for a
things.
lot of dudes.
Yeah. I can do the things physically, sure.
Mhm.
Tell me what to do, I'll do them, but I don't know why I'm doing them. And it requires more thought than any
Well,
of us are really put into it.
for two reasons. One, not just for yourself, but by the way, acting as an example, you
Mhm.
get into that position and you're unknowingly in the position. How do you not convince, but how do you encourage others that are following in your footsteps to do it right, to do it better?
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
just going to say you're now the man for everyone else to look at.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
that's a lot of responsibility. Littlefoot jumps in here and says, "Thanks, fellas, for the suggestions. I'm a crap reader, but I'll try The Warrior in the Garden. Lord of the Rings is too long for me at the moment." Okay, I guess
No, it's true. Like the Lord of the Rings is dense, man. It's long and dense. There's no
it
doubt
is.
about it.
Yeah,
Like that is no easy
it's
undertaking. I
not an
would
easy read.
never, ever send anyone to the Lord of the Rings unless they were like a pretty long time reader, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that's a good point. I do remember I had to force myself to read through War and Peace, and that was like
Mm.
that was a bite that you had to sit
Mhm.
down and like. Same thing with the Iliad. I mean, if
Yeah.
you understand the story, it's not too bad. But at the first time I read it, it was a crunch.
Yeah.
USCF jumps in here, says, "Bet they want that USCCA insurance now." Have a great day, gents. Happy to gain some wisdoms for the evening meal. Up here in Canada, we don't have that, so
That's true. Whatever.
that is
We
a whole
don't
nother ball of
we don't
wax.
have common sense.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole other story for you. Dan C says, "Have I got some stories for you?" I have no
Yeah, no
doubt.
doubt.
And Greg K, Roadhouse. I'm afraid of going too far because I know what'll happen next.
Right.
Yeah, and there's funny thing is that statement is a fine line between "I just see red, bro,"
Yeah,
and
right.
that's so
Yeah.
there's a whole that. Let's shut it down before we
So
devolve
can't
to
shut it down anytime someone
okay.
brings up Roadhouse. I can never get this out of my head.
Roadhouse. Yeah.
Roadhouse. I love the whole thing.
It's fun.
And
It's awesome.
when I was young and coming up, like I'd watch Roadhouse and like I kind of mimic some of the stuff, like some of
Yeah.
my
Mhm.
moves were based on Roadhouse. And a combination of Dalton and a combination of, the crotchety old guy with the
Mhm.
bum knee, and like I had all the things. Cause back in the day, there wasn't any of that. Like there was no UFC. There was no, oh, that's how it's done.
Right.
Like you had to cobble your secret sauce together by watching Hollywood movies. It was crazy. So here's the thing about
Yeah.
Roadhouse that I just can't get over. I love kind of how, I love the story. I love the Orson Welles clipping of the
Mhm.
story, as it were. But Patrick Swayze is a dancer. He's not a martial artist. He's a dancer. He's not a scrapper.
Yeah.
And I can see it, man.
Yeah.
I can see that he's a ballet dude. He ain't hardcore. He ain't punching anyone in the throat for real.
Yeah.
He's dancing over and choreographing the moment. And
Yeah.
I love it, man. It's all good.
Yeah, it's fun.
All
Yeah.
the love.
Yep.
I got no hate for that. But deep inside, I know he's a dancer.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can feel it. He ain't a warrior.
No.
And that's what that part kind of needs. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
It
know.
kind of does.
Well, it
And if you
does.
say
But
anything, if
no,
you say anything
you're right.
different, I'm ending this podcast
100%.
right now.
No. It absolutely does.
It
I was
does.
tried to redo it with was it Jake
With Connor.
Gyllenhaal, whatever, and Connor McDavid in
And
there.
Jake, it didn't work.
Right? Because they were like too scrappy. There was
They went
no
in the wrong direction.
Yeah, there was no philosopher in there, and that was
No.
that was the beauty of Dalton, was that he was
That's
supposed to
right.
be that warrior philosopher kind of
Warrior
dude.
philosopher.
And yeah, they didn't do it very well in that other one. It
No.
was just too much scrappy, too much.
No. They
yeah.
didn't interpret it correctly.
Yeah. So that is the game, right? That's the editing room floor. That is someone's interpretation of it as to what it should be, what it should look like, how it should play out.
Two life stories told completely differently.
Yeah.
And neither
doing it
was
right.
told well.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Who would you put as Dalton?
Me.
You?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you even kidding me right now?
I like it. I thought you'd be a little too short.
Totally short.
Although, no, the funny thing is, I just realized in the movie they always said, like, I thought you'd be bigger.
Correct.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. All right. Well, if you ever star in that,
well, obviously not. But I mean,
we'll make
honestly,
Seb the other guy.
It requires someone like me.
Yeah.
Not me. But someone at least like me.
If not you, who?
Yeah, definitely not me.
Okay.
Let's just state that. But
Who?
someone like me. And I know many dudes like me.
But
it's got nothing to do with acting. It's got nothing to do with looks. It's got nothing to do with tonality or articulation. It's got nothing to do with acting chops.
Yeah.
It's got everything to do with, like, when you step in and that door swings open, like if you haven't owned that first second of the movie by being you, what's the point? It's all just nonsense after that.
I'm tracking.
You need the right dude.
I agree. You do need the right dude. But looking at who's available right now, what you know about perhaps Hollywood actors, anybody, who would you put there?
Not a freaking one of them.
No?
None. I don't think there's a dude in Hollywood right now who can do that part well. You name one. Name one.
My first thought goes to Keanu Reeves.
That was my first thought, but he couldn't pull it off.
I don't think he could. Yeah.
No, he ain't that.
He's not.
He
can play the philosopher side of it. Like
he does. Do you know what? He's still Bill and Ted.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's still a goofy kid in my eyes to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And in the John Wick and all of that stuff, he plays all of these parts great. I'm a huge fan of Keanu Reeves. In fact, he arguably, definitely he's top 3 actors in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no hate on Keanu for this, but he's goofy, man. And he's still got an air of goofiness in him, like the way he moves, a bit awkward, and he ain't a scrapper.
No.
He's Hollywood choreography.
Yeah.
But he ain't hardcore. And that role needs hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood makes him look hardcore. I don't see hardcore. I see the role. I see the part he's playing as hardcore. Keanu isn't hardcore to me.
You know who I've been thinking about it while you're talking. I think Josh Brolin would be a good one. The guy who played Cable, I guess, in the X-Men movies. He was in Sicario.
Nah.
No, you don't think that?
Nah.
He might be able to play the what was the other guy, the older.
Do you know what it is about him?
Hmm.
He believes in himself too much.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Oh, you know what? Tom Hardy.
Nope.
No, really?
Nope.
Interesting. I think
No.
I think he could play.
No.
I think he could do a good job on it.
Too surly.
Surly. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him in positions where he's not surly.
Of course. That's called acting.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough call. You need the right person for sure.
Need the right person. And I know a few. I know a few that could easily step into that role because they are it. Not they're pretending to be it.
They are that person.
There is the distinction for me.
Mm-hmm. That's the tough part. Well, that's acting though. Like
that's
tell a story. Yeah. You have to have people who can tell a story.
That's right.
And the better you are at it, the more time you have to spend in it as a craft, which eliminates.
But you know what's even better than acting? Is just actually being it.
Yeah. It's if you get to. Like that's the stuff is that like
we all do.
It could just be until you realize that it's an idealized version of it, and then you have to figure out what else there's a whole other ball of wax to it. So yeah, all right. Well, then let's shut it down for the afternoon because we've been going for a while. Any final thoughts? Anything bubbling?
Not at all.
Good combo, good information for those out there, and we hit quite a few different things like that.
Dude, how you feeling?
A little lighter, which is good. I think I had a lot of things just resting on my forehead that I needed to get rid of. And
yeah, well, you know what? I felt it on the world. Of course, Wednesday. But you shouldn't, as I said then, you shouldn't ever leave these gaps without like having this jaw time. We can always chirp offline. We don't have to wait for 2 days a week publicly.
No, but I personally want to, if I'm going to learn something from it, I want to help other people.
I know.
This is, I know. You know who I am.
Yeah.
I am that guy. And last comment here, Dan C says, big boy persona is tiring. That's a good point. It really is.
Yeah.
Other than that, I got nothing. So as we all continue to learn, build, and grow, some of us in the real time, we'll see y'all next
week. Some
of
us over 6 feet. Chimo.
Thanks everybody for watching and being part of the collective. If this has sparked any thoughts or resonated with you, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us grow and keeps the conversation going. We'll see y'all next time.